There's no honor among thieves in the first place. He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family. Hard times are when the textile workers around this country are out of work and got 4 or 5 kids and can't pay their wages, can't buy their food. Hard times.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Woo! I tore them all down, and I came here for one reason: to attack and keep coming.
I did it for the rock.
You will rest in peace.
I asked you 1,000,000 times to join the NWO, or you would be for life.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
Bang, bang. And what you gonna do when Hulkamania run wild on you?
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Yeah! Fire! I won't ride in nothing but limousines, and I won't make love to nothing but the best looking women in the world.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
You will know that your ass is mine.
Bang, bang.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
You got a championship belt? I don't.
That's right, I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
When Ric Flair's in town, showtime.
Woo! Sweet!
My belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
Beat me if you can survive if I let you.
Orderly!
Woo! It is Rolex time for the Raven.
You just made the list!
Who you beat, brother?
Did you dig that? Sucker! I am the game! The whole show.
If I can be serious for a minute.
You son of a bitch! Brock Lesnar. Damn!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Oh, you didn't know? I mean, you're the Donald Trump of wrestling. You make Steven Spielberg look like a guy running 8mm films in a garage someplace. Will you stop?
You don't want to recognize my belt, huh? You don't recognize my belt. I think you're a liar. I think you're a flat-out, straight-up, lying, crying bitch.
Latino Hit. Chica, ¿tú quieres probar a un latino más? Ven conmigo.
Latino!
Come on. Latino! Maquillado aquí con Latino Heat. Hitting up the honeys that look so sweet. I slam them on the mat, then salte de mi lado, cause I'm bringing the heat. Cuando todo se termine, si tú quieres, yo regreso. I'm not scared of you, my brother, cause I'm Latin.
There you go. Little Eddie Guerrero for you guys. There you go. Today is, how long, Anthony?
14 years, bro. Miss Eddie every day, man.
God, man. 14 years since we lost Eddie. Whew. That's a long time, man. But anyway, let's not start on that note right now, because it is Wednesday night. This is the Dirt Sheet Dudes. I am Boxman. What the fuck is going on, everybody? Alongside me, he is not 1A, but 2A's. He is Anthony. What is up, brother?
Box, chat room. What's going on? Looking forward to tonight because a couple things to talk about. I don't know. Some shit happened this week.
Oh, yeah. A few things to talk about, most definitely. But before we get to that, I would use a Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch analogy, but I've used them all. So it's Mark. What's going on, brother?
What's up, everybody? The returning champion. How is everyone tonight?
There he is. The champ is here.
Gordon Slowly himself.
Gordon slowly has returned.
Yes, sir.
That's right. If you guys didn't catch it, we did do a live, basically watch along with AEW Full Gear, and let's just say one of us couldn't complete sentences by the end of the show. And it wasn't me, and it wasn't Anthony. But let's
let the record show. I made it through a full broadcast. So to date, I've only fallen asleep once.
Yeah. Yes, only once. So yeah, that was one thing we did. And then Sunday, I hung out with the wrestling's high marks over there with Cheeseman, Mojo, and G-Wiz. 3 great guys. Had a fucking great time. Had a hell of a hangover Monday because of it. But we reviewed NWA. We talked AEW Full Gear. And just a bunch of bullshit from there. But great time, great show. You can find them here at the on Mixler at the Metal Mitt Network. That's where you'll find them right there. Just search that. Trust me, it'll pop up. Shout out to Wrestling OD, the Wrestling Overdose. Join his Patreon. Updates the shit out of that. You guys will get some stuff on there right there. Patreon.com/Wrestling Overdose, right, Anthony? Right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
There we go. And if you want to check out all Shaheen's art, nuclearheatshop.com. You can check him out right there. And, of course, Bobby Anthem and Bobby Blades on the Inhuman Experience. If you get that feed, you get a bonus show. You get Bobby Anthem searching for his lost soul. And then we got Eric, Doug, and Daniel on the Unscripted Wrestling Show, which you can find on the Philly Sports Passion feed. And again, the Philly Sports Passion, it's all sports. So sports are around. So check that shit out right there. And don't forget Stephen Milan. We had a good time with his name because none of us know the real saying of it. The guy needs to tell us how the fuck to say it. So anyway, check him out on Letterboxd, boxd.com/Stephen Milan. That's 2 L's. The Madman of Movie Reviews. Me and Anthony will be on Hollywood Hangout this weekend.
Wow, it's that time again, man. Dude, we're like the hardest working, man. I'm losing track of the shows, man. I'm really losing track.
Bro, having Monday and Tuesday was like a god, like a gift from God. We were on Friday. I was on Saturday. I was on Sunday. Oh my God, fucking tired. I'm still hungover, but I'm still hungover. God damn it. I'm not sure what we're reviewing. I got a couple things in mind. I'm still thinking Roadhouse. I don't know why, Anthony, but
oh, you and that damn Roadhouse. Well, yeah, maybe Roadhouse, because we're never doing Grease, unless Stephen Milan will be generous enough, because he's a good dude. You might be able to get him to hop on for that one.
Actually, I've got someone in mind to hop on for that one. But I'm gonna see if my buddy Joe from Florida would want to hop on for that, because me and him watched the hell out of some Grease, bro.
And I want to like Joe from Florida. Joe's been, or is it Joe or Mike? That's responsible for the memorable times down in Florida for you.
Mainly Joe. Those were the strip bar times. Mike has different memorable times. Those were usually getting drunk, blacking out, getting into a fight, stopping him from getting into a fight because he can't fight. There were reasons.
How about this? You do Grease, right? You do like a quickie review, 15 minutes, and then just Joe, because I want to be on with Joe, and then the rest of the show is just Joe and box stories.
We'll figure it out.
Dig that.
We'll figure that out. We will figure that out. But we will be on, and that is, of course, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time right here on this Mixler, mixer.com/dirtsheetdudes. And you guys can follow us on Spreaker, like our Facebook page. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We're on Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Player FM, anywhere you get podcasts from. And I've had enough. That's it.
You got the plugs in, bro. You're a professional with this shit, man. Seriously.
They're getting too long. I'm going to have to shorten these up.
Yes. Oh, one more. The Bottom Line Pro Wrestling Podcast, my boy Jason Clark. He plugs the holes that we missed. So if you want the latest and greatest reviews on NWA Power, NWA, AWA, fucking AEW, AEW. He's available on Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever fine podcasts are heard. I'm going to do that at the end because, fuck it, Boxman, like Boxman just said, we have too many plugs to get in every fucking week.
Yeah, we'll split them up a little bit. But anyway, Michael Adolini reminds me, WNC Super Party Thursdays right after the soup. So check them out too. And, yeah, Michael, I believe it or not, they are written down, and that is how I read them off every week. And It's still too long. But anyway, I guess that's my fault. I just don't shut the fuck up. What do you want me to do? That's why I've got a microphone, right?
Yeah.
There we go. So,
and it's new.
Yeah, it is. It's brand new. I like this thing. It's very nice. Audio Technica AT2020. That's right, 2020.
Yeah, it's big and black. It's awesome.
Not even 17 minutes in, and the show takes a turn like this. Oh, yeah. All right, let's do this. All right.
So, should we get into AEW first?
Actually, what I figured is we'd go ahead and get into Full Gear, because the only thing we want to talk about Full Gear is the fallout. And the main fallout we want to talk about, and I don't want to spend too much time on this because it's pretty much cut and dry. We either like it or we don't. And that is the level of violence in the Moxley and Kenny Omega match. Not only the level of violence, the necessity for the violence. PWI actually put out a little thing here. Give me 1 second. Let me just pull that picture up. It said, the official PWI magazine put up a tweet. Moxley wins a needlessly long, needlessly dangerous, and needlessly gross match. This was the worst of AEW. #AC. So, we got three guys here. We got three different opinions. Actually, both of you guys, I mean, we've all seen deathmatch wrestling, and if you listen to that show, we may have been drunk, but we really like that fucking match. I still, even thinking about it today, I changed nothing of what I said, no matter how drunk I was. Every bit of what I said about that match was fucking great. I love the match. I don't think it was needless. Did it warrant a death match? Or a hardcore match, whatever you want to call it? I mean, he did put Kenny Omega through glass, so there was a little retaliation for that. So I guess you could say maybe, and I guess you could say no, but either way, I enjoyed it. I don't see a problem with it. If they do a couple of these matches, you know, like I said, the pay-per-views are spread out, I got no issues with it. Done. Off my soapbox. Anthony, go ahead.
I don't retract any of my statements. I also enjoyed the match. I do think the criticism of the storyline going into the match not matching the level of violence, I do agree with people's criticism of that. I didn't have a problem with the actual violence, but I do agree that AEW going forward, if they're going to do these type of matches, they do need to tighten up the storylines so that way there's a reason behind the violence. Growing up an ECW fan, there was always a reason for the violence. There was always a reason a match got to that escalation point. You didn't start off with match one being like a barbed wire match, because once you start at that level, there's nowhere to go from there. And then it just becomes violence for the sake of violence. And nothing in the build up to that feud really kind of like, so that criticism I think is fair. The actual match though, I enjoyed.
All right, real quick, let me just do this. I see that point, but I mean, when we see like a Hell in a Cell match, is there always, it's just because the pay-per-view is Hell in a Cell? Sometimes there's nothing really violent that leads to a Hell in a Cell. I mean,
and that's why they basically killed off the match as a concept.
Well, they just did one a little while ago. But anyway, Smark, your opinion on those, the Moxley. I think we tried to get your opinion on that match the other night.
This is take two.
Yes, this is this is kind of take one.
No, he started.
Yeah, actually, if I could rebuild, if I can go back and kind of reiterate on my point from the show.
I mean, I totally agreed with your point, but you might want to just try to get it out this time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. You could argue about whether or not their feud, like a death match, was necessary for their feud if it's been heated enough or if it's been running long enough that it could be like a culmination. But it is what it is. It sets a tone. Like, it sets a tone for who Moxley is, what his character's about. And, you know, the next time that they do this, and it'll probably be for a feud that has more heat to it or has more longevity to it, people will be excited for it because they know what they actually deliver upon when they promise you a death match.
Yep. There you go. And I'm going to tell you something. And I'm going to just skip a little ahead here, which, we bounce around anyway. If the next match that Moxley has is with Darby Allin and you think it's going to be quiet, calm, and not a fucking pretty much bloody match, I don't think you've been watching Darby Allin matches long enough.
No.
Yeah, this is not going to be some cute, cuddly fucking match between those two, which we found out that will be, Darby Allin did accept the challenge from Moxley tonight, so that looks like it's going to be the next match. I don't know where, but that's going to be a fucking great match, I'll tell you now.
Actually, it's going to be next week.
Oh, shit, that's going to be great then. But, all right, so we all agree. It's not, we all pretty much agree, though, the violence was not over the top, right?
No, it was probably, especially on a national level, if you go back and look at it, that was probably one of the safest death matches you ever want to see.
Yeah, and I'm having trouble calling it a death match because Moxley came out tonight like he was unscathed completely. Completely. Kenny Omega looked like he just got his ass whipped, and Moxley doesn't even have a fucking scratch on him. Not even a scar. Not even a little poke of blood. Just the the bandage over his elbow for the MRSA he's trying to keep covered up.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I know that they didn't really have any choice. That wasn't maybe not intentionally done, but I like the kind of contrast to that because the whole point was that Moxley was the violence guy. He was a deathmatch wrestler, so it was commonplace for him. He didn't suffer the same kind of ill effects that somebody who was more technically driven like Omega would.
Yeah. All right. Fine. I'm not in an arguing mood tonight. I'm sorry, guys. I fucked my back up today pretty bad.
Did you take a bump on mousetraps?
No. I played mover today for my parents, and I lifted a mattress, and I felt every muscle in the lower back just tense up and pull, and I spent 3 hours before the show just lying on a fucking heating pad, put it that way. Watching TV. But
that's a man right there, folks.
I'll be all right.
I could picture you laid out in your Zubaz, popping somas. Gotta get this show on tonight, brother. Gotta get this show in.
I do have on the Zubaz, Anthony. I'm showing you right now. I do have on the Zubaz with an Elvis shirt. You see this Elvis in concert shirt? There you go. So
they can't all be winners, but at least you got the Zubaz on.
I basically look like an episode of Cops right now, if you like. Actually, no, I have a shirt on, so I'm not an episode of Cops. Okay, so I guess let's get into what do you want? AEW Dynamite.
Yes.
Boom, blew that shit up. All right, so let's start with this Marco stunt stuff, guys.
Good boy.
He's running around on the back of Jungle Jack Perry, and it just with a Luchasaurus mask on, and boy, thank God Luchasaurus actually came back tonight. Now I want to bring that up because rumors were, and I was literally just hearing these rumors last week, that he's going to be out until 2020 minimum, April, maybe May. So, I don't know, man. That's just weird to me. But, Elvis in concert, he's asking about my shirt, Michael Andolini. What I saw was, it was his old band live, and he was up on a screen. And, it was pretty cool. And I am not a boomer. I am generation motherfucking X, y'all bitches.
Now,
I was born in 1975. I'm 44 years old. I ain't no boomer, bitches.
Oh my.
Don't fuck me up with JR now.
Oh.
Now, at any point during this Elvis show, did you ever do a duet with the Tupac hologram?
No, sir, he did not. But he had his original band, and he had the original girls back there, the Jordanaires, I believe they were called, and it was just kind of a weird show. It was somewhere. It was like 2000, 2001, something like that. So that is what it was. That is what it was. But there you go. It was a good show. It was actually pretty goddamn fun, believe it or not. It was actually a pretty damn good show. But moving on, Luchasaurus returned, and like I said, literally last week I heard this guy was out until April or May of 2020. I don't know what he was out there throwing kicks and doing the same shit. So, man, Meltzer, what are you doing?
Do you think they rushed him back? Do you think this was his call? Do you think they're like, they want to keep the Jurassic Express as a gimmick going, but they're like, we can't really continue to do this thing with Marco Stunt? Just because, look, I don't have a personal problem against Marco Stunt, but it's just becoming so divisive online with this guy. Anytime he makes an appearance, do you think that was the reason he kind of popped up out of nowhere, Luchasaurus I'm talking about, coming back? Because it does seem kind of random. They were doom and gloom about this guy being out for months, and then all of a sudden he pops back up doing the same shit that he was doing that probably put him on the shelf.
Yeah, and I do got to admit, did we ever know the exact injury he had? I don't think it was ever publicized or put out there, the exact injury. I may be wrong, but I don't remember it being out there. But it was good to see Luchasaurus back, man. Holy shit, did that team need it, because I don't know. I'm just not. Again, I'm very happy that Marco Stunt has a shot, and he's getting this little this opportunity, but I'm not a fan. I'm just gonna say I'm not a fan. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, does it help? Does it? And I'll throw this to Smart too. Does it help that at least Stunt is taking a fall in most of these matches, if not all? Does that take away some of the some of that factor sometimes that you get when he gets offense in?
Either he takes a fall or the big guys sell for him. I mean, it's literally it's kind of two evils, but yeah, he should be taking the falls. He should be taking all the big bumps and getting thrown around. And I mean, like I said, I get why he's there. I'm just personally not a fan. That's it.
What about you, Smart?
Yeah, go ahead, Smart.
I like the guy. I don't really have a problem with him, but I feel like for them to be a tag team, they're just too much of being the same wrestler. It just seems like it's that they both contribute the same thing. And I think what people liked about the tag team originally was you had the big power guy, and then you had the smaller flyer. And I feel like they're both the two sides of the same coin.
Oh, I wasn't expecting such an intelligent opinion. Am I on the right? Am I on the right show? Okay. Sorry, Smart.
I'm trying to gently wade into the nuance pool since I know what we got coming up later in the show.
Wade in the wall.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Should I get the music out? Anyway. We'll get there.
Where do you go from there?
Obviously, to the crowd, literally the second the light hit the Sean Spears chair, the crowd started booing like horribly.
Yeah, fuck that guy. I'm sorry, man. Fuck that, man. Like of all the things that we had to sit through, did we really need his entrance shown in its entirety? But kudos to Tully Blanchard for the lime green. Clearly, he had some plans after the show tonight.
Yeah, but I do appreciate the fact that they cut out the whole librarian thing. That was worth it. That was one good time they did this. The picture-in-picture. It was a good time. It was a good time. But yeah, I did notice they booed the shit out of him. Like the second the light went on, his music didn't even hit, and they were like, "Boo!" That was good shit. So I think we all agree it's just kind of annoying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of there. I guess to wrap up the Lucha talk real quick, what did you think about your boys, Box, the Dark Order?
I just like the gimmick, man. I think it's cool. I don't know why. I know it's stupid, and you know, they kind of tried to recruit Marco tonight, but I don't know. I just like it. I don't know why. I know it's not great. I know it's not. It's entertaining to me. I know it's not for everybody, but those guys to me are entertaining, and they're both really they're both fine in the ring. They're both good in the ring, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they're decent. The gimmick is just like, I don't know, a little hokey. Even by pro wrestling standards, and you gotta admit, I mean, I get what they were going for, trying to make Luchasaurus look like a beast, which he is, but it was kind of goofy when you got a guy that big, and they're coming at him one at a time, and then he's just wiping everybody out. That was just like, that was straight out of a bad 80s action movie.
Hey, do you remember when, they still do this? You know how people just sort of run into Hulk Hogan's fist? It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's 9 of them down there, and he's mowing them down one at a time, brother.
It was the funniest in TNA when, like, he had, like, the 18 back surgery so he could hardly move.
Oh.
So you had to, like, literally, it was a bunch of dudes running to him in slow motion.
Yeah, and
big fist. That was like, I think that was a low point for Hulkamania.
That was a pretty low point in the Hulkamania stage. But yeah, I like that Dark Order. I don't know, Smark. What do you think?
I want to like them.
Okay.
Hopefully, the more that the characters get developed, like right now, they just seem like people that got bullied in high school and then just listen to Marilyn Manson together, and you know, they're about another bad day away from buying some trench coats.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Darby Allin and what's his name, Jimmy Havoc. Remember, we said that was Battle of the Marilyn Manson fans.
I like them on the indies, but I don't know. The characters just aren't doing anything for me. I'm glad that they started making Uno wear like full body gear. Him wrestling without his shirt was just not ill-advised.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we still got heavy machinery for that though. But anyway, we talked about the. I guess I don't need to spend another second on the Sean Spears thing. We talked about the Darby Allin thing already. I mentioned it. You guys didn't give your opinion. Moxley, Darby Allin. How do you guys think that shit's gonna fucking end up next week?
If they're smart, I would say start it off as a singles a regular basic match, and just, like I said, build it a little bit. Do some promo, you know, I mean, like build it up a little bit.
We might see some of it. We might see a little hardcore.
Just look at it like this: they just had the match with Moxley and Omega.
True.
You don't want to have 2 crazy ass matches that close together. So if it's me, I would have them have a regular match with a little bit of fuckery in it, a little bit of craziness in it, but not too crazy. You know what I mean? You got to let those matches breathe. You don't want the insanity to become a normal part of the show. Because at that point, people will become desensitized to things.
No, I get you there. All right. I mean, I think we're going to see a little, maybe a chair, maybe a kendo stick. I don't think we're going to see too much, but I think we'll see a little bit of that at least.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they like start off gently, just have a little bit, like you guys said, a little bit of fuckery. Moxley, being more experienced, ends up getting the win over him, and then that just, you know, as the weeks go by, it's not good enough. Allen keeps insisting that there's rematches. He keeps like maybe attacking him backstage or whatever, and you set up for something that's a little bit more extreme down the line.
Extreme.
With an X. Just regular X.
Tons of X's. XX Extreme. All right, there we go. So, guys.
We should shout out Darby Allin, though. He actually got a win tonight with that coffin drop.
Yeah.
And it probably the safest coffin drop you'll ever see.
It actually was. Yeah, you saw him take a look and see where he was going and dropped right back. It was didn't look as bad.
Oh, and I guess we had a Joey Janela run in. Because basically we should paint the picture. It was a 3-way match between Sean Spears, the librarian dude, Peter Avalon, and Darby Allin. Darby Allin got the win with a coffin drop. Peter Avalon was basically the bitch boy of this match. They protected Sean Spears for God only knows why. by having Joey Janela do the run-in, and they fought outside the building. What do you think about that feud continuing?
The
Janela and Spears.
Janela and Spears. That's fine.
Because they kind of threw it together, and then but it's apparently going on. It's continuing.
Well, I gotta say, Joey made Spears look goddamn good at Full Gear. So I don't see any point not to keep it going. If he can keep doing that I mean, Jesus Christ, Sean Spears. So, you know, I mean, who did we praise in that match? Joey.
Yeah.
I mean, Joey's the one that took the hard bumps.
Especially with the hair spot.
Yeah, he ripped his own hair out, for God's sakes.
There was another one that they did on the episode before last, AEW Dark, where Spears had Tully Blanchard use like a bolt cutter or whatever, I think it was, to hold Joey Janela's mouth open so they could put a cigarette out on his mouth or his tongue. It was something else.
That sounds like something you'd see in like a horror movie, like Saw. It's awful.
Yeah, it was interesting. They didn't show full on the cigarette being put out, but they showed him like clamping his tongue down so that he couldn't like put it back in his mouth. And then you just hear him screaming. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, but I got no issues with that match. Just like I said, just because Joey made Sean Spears look pretty fucking good in that match. So I guess why not continue the feud? Right? Why not? Right? Am I right? Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Sure.
And I do want to make special mention of Jim Ross on commentary tonight. A couple gems. So at different points during the course of the show, hyping up different things, he referred to Full Gear as fully loaded. And it wasn't like one of those oops, I forgot. He just kept it rolling. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I just thought that was funny. I just want that to be his new gimmick. He just calls AEW shows random old school WWF pay-per-views for no reason.
I didn't catch it, and I didn't catch the second one either. You said he did it again sometime during the night.
Yeah. It was like they had like one of the bumpers building up the next match coming up. They had a hell of a Pop, the Bastard, and the Cowboy. They had a hell of a match at Fully Loaded. Can they top that one? We'll find out coming up next. Like one of those type of deals. And I'll just say this. JR, he's hit and miss, but it was a joy to have Tony Schiavone back on commentary. Because, man, was he missed at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, he definitely was. So, but all right. So we all kind of agree Sean Spears sucks, and Joey made him look good. So why not keep going? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. The next thing I have a note on was Kong and Brandy came down to interrupt Allie, who, oh my God, yeah,
indeed.
Was that a motorboat I just heard? I think it was. But this Kong and Brandy shit's got to stop. I did find it funny when Kong was standing there and all you saw was a hand go over his shoulder. You're like, damn, Brandy's that fucking skinny? You couldn't see her behind fucking Kong? So, I don't know. I laughed at that. But otherwise, man, this is some bad shit. This is some BS, some bad shit.
I love Kong. I still can't buy into Brandy as badass. Even if she's playing like a chicken shit heel, you know, with Kong doing all the dirty work. I just don't want to see this much of Brandy on my TV. I really think that this television time could be better served elsewhere. I mean, I don't know about you. I don't want to speak for you guys, but the AEW's women's division is by far the weakest part of their game right now.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I think I can definitely agree with that. Women's division is awful, and I got to tell you something. Brandy is not going to be the one to spice it up. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. Kong herself could do a lot more without Brandy. I think. That's just my opinion, but
I don't know. I don't want to shit on Kong because I like Kong. I think she's the best female that they have there. But have you really kind of paid attention to how she sounds when she talks? Like, she's got a little bit of a Lashley thing going where she, not exactly the same way, but she talks very much like a Valley girl. Like, she talks more like Allie than Allie does. So, I mean, she's physically intimidating and everything, but then when she talks, the longer she talks, if they have her talk, go on long spiels, it's going to kind of diminish some of the effect, I think.
So, and I guess this is a rare moment where we should give TNA some props, because I don't recall her ever speaking not once during her TNA run. I might be wrong on that, but I don't recall her cutting promos at all at any point.
Well,
good. She was on the Jericho podcast this week. That's where I kind of picked it up on, because they talked for about an hour. For what it's worth, I don't know if anybody really cares, because you guys both seem like you didn't like the segment. But he asked her if she was looking forward to working with anybody who she wanted to work with first. And she said that she saw somebody there that had something special that she kind of thought could benefit from working with her. And she wouldn't quite say who, but apparently this is who she had in mind. And I like Allie. She's pretty good. She's pretty charismatic. She's a decent wrestler.
Charismatic. I like both of her charismas.
Hey, do you want Britt Baker again? Do you want another Britt Baker week?
No, I'll take both of Allie's charismas. I like her charismas. Oh, she's got personality,
Exactly.
Personality.
Yeah, personality. But all right, I'll agree that shit sucks. Now, guys, we got a little bit of we didn't get a dream match. We got, I guess you could call this a bit of a dream situation with MJF and Chris Jericho in the ring together.
Gold, man.
On the mic. No, Anthony, go ahead. I hear you revving up. Go for it.
No, man, this segment was pure gold. I mean, honestly, there were so many quotables during the course of this thing, man. Like, Jericho is on another level. He's on another level, man. Like, AEW needs to thank their lucky stars every day that they have access to this man. He gives us goal. I mean, MJF held his own, but Jericho, to me, really made the segment.
I think they both did. MJF is great on the mic. Jericho, need I say? I mean, obviously, great on the mic. These two tonight, though, were fucking awesome. They weren't gold, dude. They were fucking platinum. Over past gold. They were platinum on the fucking mic. This was awesome. I literally, this is another promo for different reasons that I'm going to absolutely fucking have to put up there as another fucking promo of the year. I love this shit. It was a great back and forth.
And Smart, I'm sure you like myself appreciated the line about Juventud Guerrera. that was golden.
For sure. Always nice to get a Juice Man reference in there. The juice?
The juice is loose. Oh wait, it's the wrong juice. But yeah, I everything about this to me was just greatness. MJF, let me tell you what, as much as they better thank their lucky stars that they have Chris Jericho, they better thank their lucky stars that there's a heel like MJF still around, willing to take the heat, willing to, because, a lot of these heels now want to be these cool, cocky, I want the crowd to still love me, though, heels. He wants the hate. He wants it all. Bring on the hate. He just, it's refreshing to see a heel like that. I mean, I know Jericho doesn't mind it either, which is great having those, two of the greatest probably right now heels in the business. So they should be thankful right now for both those guys, in my opinion.
Not to pull a Cornette, man, but MJF is a real throwback. I really respect his commitment to the gimmick. Sorry there, Smart.
Oh, no, I was just going to kind of reiterate the whole points of just that is a hell of a learning tree for MJF to be able to sit under, too. Because I think that's definitely going to help his long-term character promo development.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus, let's be honest. There's no better teacher than Jericho for all that shit right there, especially on the mic. So Antox is saying, I forgot the Nyla Rose squash match. No, I just didn't really have he said that a few minutes ago, but didn't really have any notes on it. It was her against some girl, Danny something, and yeah, squash match. Anyway, moving on.
Yes, Nyla Rose. I'm sorry, she's still awful.
Moving on, we had the debut of Wardlow.
Yeah, and it was kind of it felt kind of flat for me.
I mean,
I'm willing to give it a chance, but night one was kind of like, yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, they sort of have they been playing those? I mean, I know they played them, but it's been like a month since they played one, and I kind of forgot the guy was coming.
Yeah, and this is a case of like the video, because remember when you first saw the video pack, you're like, hey, this is awesome, can't wait for this guy to show up, and then he shows up, and it's kind of like another jacked up muscle dude in the suit. Nothing's better. Yeah, I mean, he didn't carry that same vibe from the video packages to seeing it live and in living color. I don't know, for some reason I feel like I'm willing to give it a chance, give it some time, but night one wasn't very impressive for me personally.
Well, at least he didn't, at least we didn't see all those great vignettes, and then he came down, to somebody call your mama. But,
Hey, that got a pop on night one. Here, I don't think people knew how to react. They just kind of like sat on their hands a little bit.
They didn't get a pop from me. They didn't get a fucking pop from me. But, what the hell? Yeah, that was definitely...
I like how you described people sitting on their hands as being like a favorable crowd response. I feel like we've been watching, because I've been the one that's been watching Impact. I don't know how you thought somebody sitting on their hands is a favorable response.
For who? For Wardlow or?
Well, the Brodus Clay segment, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that was, I just know at that point I was just like,
yeah, all right, what else is on?
Yeah. Piss break.
Piss break. You know what it was though? I do get your point, Box, because the vignettes leading up to that debut was, this guy's gonna come back as a killer, a badass, and then he kind of comes out. I like the absurdity of the whole thing. That's what made it funny. He went from being like this badass killer to all of a sudden Funk is on the road, got cheerleaders, big booty Luke dancers, and it's like, man, what the hell?
Bro, that's
it's right up WWE's alley. That absurdity.
You mean bait and switch? Yeah, right up their alley. I agree. False advertising? Yep, you're right. Right up their motherfucking alley.
Or you know what they probably thought? They probably like, it's fucking Brodus Clay. Do we really want to invest that much in this guy? And they said, let's just give him a comedy gimmick. Make the kids happy.
Whatever. Meanwhile, we were talking about Wardlow. I guess we'll see what happens with this guy. Meanwhile, he's a huge fucking guy. He does have a good fucking look, and didn't look like he was fucking, shitty in the ring. We didn't see much from him tonight, so I don't know. We'll see what happens, and we'll go from there. Now, a big kind of brawl broke out backstage, right, Anthony? Right after that, right around there?
Yeah, with the Young Bucks, or the should we start calling them the middle-aged Bucks? They're not. I know they're not that old, but they really outgrown the Young Buck gimmick.
No, they're the adult. They're the adult Bucks.
A brawl broke out between those guys and Ortiz and Santana.
Yeah, and to me, the funniest part of that match is when they broke into the bathroom, and Orange Cassidy. This man, all he has to do is stand there, and he gets one of the biggest pops of the fucking night. Say what you want about the guy, but he's fucking over for doing nothing. Nothing. You get that? I love it. I don't know. I like it. I know I'm not the biggest on a lot of the comedy shit, but there's certain comedy I like, and Orange Cassidy, obviously I'm not the only one that likes it, because like I said, he gets one of the biggest pops of the night for just standing there looking coolly and, cool into the camera. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a big hit with the live crowds, and he's catching on with the online crowd too. I'd be actually interested in what kind of numbers he does ratings wise. Is there a spike in ratings when Orange Cassidy's on the screen? Because he's been featured. He's been they haven't overexposed him necessarily, but they've found a way to kind of feature him, even if it's for a couple seconds week to week.
Well, that's the thing. It's only a couple of seconds. So by the time you tell someone Orange Cassidy's on, he's already off. But so, it's just one of those things. But guy's over. And like I said, for doing nothing. What? How many guys can you say that for?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What else from AEW? What did you guys think of the Moxley promo? A lot of fire, a lot of passion. Like, what do you think they're going for? What do you think his role is currently? You think he's going to be a face, a heel, a tweener?
I think he's going to go for that tweener. Because no matter what, the crowd's going to fucking cheer him when he comes out. So he kind of needs to stick with that tweener anyway, in my opinion.
What about you, Smart?
Yeah, I agree with that. Because, I mean, if you look at it right now, we always like to talk about how the women's division's like kind of the most lacking thing. But I think also there's a big kind of lacking void right now for people who could legitimately be challengers for the world title. And I feel like he's one of the guys on that short list. So if you turn him full on heel, that's going to lose some of the effect if and when he does end up going for the belt.
And he's kind of right now sort of the flagship anti-establishment guy, the way he left WWE, the way he was trashing WWE, and the way he's come here and completely reinvent himself. It's sort of it's kind of a fuck you to WWE is what he did. So he's sort of the, like I said, flagship anti-establishment dude, and the crowd is going to cheer that no matter what. So, I don't know. What do you think, Anthony? You asked the damn question.
I mean, basically, I'm basically thinking like you guys. He definitely needs to be that anti-establishment type of character. Right now, I would say second to Jericho, he's obviously the biggest star that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to kind of keep him. I would say maybe lean a little bit more towards the face side, just for the time being until they start to build up your MJFs, build up your Orange Cassidy's, your Darby Allins. The people that the crowd don't have a connection to yet. Right now, he's like your main focal. He should be your main focal point in terms of star power. He's the one that's going to sell tickets when you go on the road because of that familiarity, that people know who he is when you put him on a poster. So I would say for the time being, I wouldn't push him as a full-on baby face.
Mm-hmm.
I would keep him like right along that edge as a tweener because, as a baby face, you don't want to get too hokey with it. But I'm like you guys, just keep him as a tweener for now. But but definitely leaning more towards the face side of things.
Right. Yeah, definitely. We also did have a main event tonight, which was Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus SCU. It was a damn good match, and this was Jericho's first loss. He was pinned, but again, it wasn't for the title, didn't really mean much. Oh, well, actually, it was for the tag titles. But this was kind of a decent way for Jericho to lose, and I don't see an issue with it. Jericho can stand to lose here and there. Now, I forgot to mention this, and I do want to mention it real quick before we're done with AEW Dynamite. I like that they're not only acknowledging the referees, but in the main events, they're actually announcing the referee's name. Whether WWE wants to admit it or not, the referees are actually incredibly important to pretty much every match. So why not give them the credit they deserve? They're out there working too. I like that they're giving, complete acknowledgement to these referees, unlike WWE, who basically tells you, pay no attention to that guy in the ring with the striped shirt on. So
you know what they say.
Mm-hmm.
The best referees are the ones you don't notice.
Yeah, but they're going for a different feel here. You got to remember, when they do these main events, all their main events, they want to have that big fight feel. And what is a big fight, like a big boxing match? What do? They announce the fucking referee's name.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of admit, back in the day when you knew the refs' names, whether it was Earl Hebner or Dave Hebner or Mike Chioda, one of those deals where you actually could Charles Robinson. I actually do kind of miss the days when the referees had their own distinctive personalities.
Yeah, me too. Weeb says Sammy was dancing like Eddie Guerrero. He was.
And man, he didn't stick his tongue out. Although they did, his match graphic did have his tongue out. So does that count in the drinking game of him having his tongue out?
No, no, it wasn't live. Wasn't him. Just a graphic. But
real quick,
mm-hmm.
And then before we move along, what did you guys think of the Bastard and Hangman? And has the Bastard officially won the feud with this win tonight?
I gotta be honest. This match, I was getting my little one ready for bed, so I didn't see much of it. So whatever you guys saw, go for it.
I thought it was a decent match. It wasn't as good as the pay-per-view, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was definitely one of the better matches that they've had on TV, just in general for their TV product. I don't mind it. I feel like those two got good chemistry, so I wouldn't mind if they let this feud linger for a little bit more. Maybe not do another singles match like every week. Like you don't want to tread on the WWE territory with that shit. But there's ways that you can keep it going for another month or two should they choose to do that. I wouldn't mind it.
All right, so there you go. All right, what else y'all got in AEW? Or are we done with it?
Done with it. I mean, it was a good show. Serviceable. It was a serviceable show. Did you like the Cody Rhodes follow-up?
Yeah. Again, that kind of goes back to the whole thing, the MJF and Jericho in the ring. And yeah, Cody came down and he obviously wasn't supposed to get in the ring, but he did anyway. I think it was fine. I liked it. They'll do more as Cody's better. Obviously. I mean, that just does not look good. He hit fucking hard, man. I'm sorry. He bladed twice. Fuck off. I saw people saying he bladed twice. No, he didn't.
No.
Watch that again. He fucking landed wrong. Ouch. That's what he did.
Yeah. And honestly, the way he flew, that was a suicide dive going terribly wrong. But if you really think about it, man, so much could have went wrong with that spot. Not take the blood out of it.
Oh, he could
have legit lawn darted himself.
Oh, he could have
himself. Yeah, a lot could have went wrong.
Yeah, he could have leaded himself.
Yeah,
well, like Lita did on that suicide dive. Remember that, where she folded herself backwards?
Yeah, how she didn't break her neck off of that? I to this day
she did. That's why she needed the spinal fusion, the surgery.
No, that was before that.
Oh, was it before that?
Yeah, that was when she was filming the hit television classic Dark Angel.
Yes, you're right. She broke her neck filming that. You're right. Classic television show. I can't believe I missed every episode of it, but somehow I did. All right, fuck it. That's AEW. Let's move on to Raw. We're plowing through, hopefully. Okay. I got barely any notes on Raw because this was a pretty bad Raw. And it was another recorded, pre-recorded Raw. There were spoilers already out. And it was another UK Raw. I just don't like these pre-recorded shows. And I guess maybe it's the spoilers, maybe not, but not a very good
spoilers, but this show was still very much pedestrian, as the UK shows normally are. Honestly, I enjoyed the women's match that opened up with the Kabuki Warriors against Charlotte and Becky.
Yeah.
Only thing I didn't like about the match is they got a good thing going with the Kabuki Warriors. I'm not liking how they have fucking Charlotte playing a role of a Road Warrior Hawk, Road Warrior Animal out there, plowing through these chicks. I mean, I don't know. I just got a problem with that because I really feel like they got something special with the Kabuki Warriors, especially as heels. I feel like they're a good anchor for those tag team titles and making those women's titles mean something.
Yeah. See, my notes are a little different. First thing I got is Becky's promos are, at this point to me, a broken record. They're all the same. Come get me, I'm the man. You know what I've done to get here. And but hey, I'm the man. That's, okay. I get it, Becky. I get it. I get it. Anyway, the only other funny part I saw in the match is when, not Asuka, Kairi Sane was doing the kind of windmill chops on Charlotte, and she was hitting her boobs and she was deflecting them like they were bouncing off beach balls because they kind of were. And at one point, Charlotte she even pushed her tits together like, I am tit woman. You cannot hurt these bitches.
And I'm not as hard on Charlotte as Vox is, or as he probably wants to be. But I will say, she needs to cut out the strut. Her strut is awful.
Yeah,
it feels like somebody doing an exaggerated impersonation of Ric Flair with the strut. I don't know, man. It's just like I know over the years, Ric Flair he didn't invent the strut, but I feel like he does it the best because it seems more in line with his character. Everybody else that does it, whether it's Jeff Jarrett, whether it's Charlotte in this instance, it just looks overblown. It looks exaggerated. It looks awful. Looks like a fan doing it to be funny.
Yeah. I mean, listen, when Jeff Jarrett does something better than you, just stop doing it. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I don't know if we all agree with that, but I'm just saying.
Are you saying that I should stop Ponzi scheming people online?
No. Not if you do it better. Well, obviously you do it better because I think all Jarrett's businesses are gone. So,
no, I like how Weave said she should have chopped Charlotte's ass. Then you would have saw like a slow motion gif of Kairi Sane's hand just slipping off of just slipping off.
Well, the thing is I mean,
it's almost like smacking the chair with no back.
She might have fallen down. That thing is basically shaped like a 2x4.
Oh.
It is plywood. Come on, plywood. No.
Yeah.
Her shit comes out like piss. Her ass is so small and non-existent.
Paneling, wood paneling. No. All right, let's move on from the Charlotte ass jokes. I believe we've done enough. Now there was a little segment, and again, I've only got a few notes on Raw because I watched the Hulu version, and there was a little segment in the back with Humberto Carrillo, Ricochet. Randy was there, who got a little face turn from Randy already. And the OC comes back. And the OC is hazing Humberto. And Randy comes up and gives them the OC a look like, motherfuckers, I do the hazing around here. They are gonna shake my hand after I get my fucking dick juice on it. Not yours, motherfucker. So Randy was putting some shit down right there. If you didn't see that look, it was like, bitch, this is my job, not yours. Because we all know Randy likes to haze people. You guys still there?
Yeah. No, I was just taking it all in, boss. I really was. That was an awesome intro. Sometimes you got to let greatness be.
Well, it was the only thing that I noticed about the whole thing besides I saw Randy's turn coming a mile away after that whole thing. But I did see the look. The look. He just kind of was like, are you guys fucking idiots? This is my job.
Yeah, I mean, between that, I just think about what we had in that picture. You talk about Randy Orton with the hazing. And like, grabbing his balls before he shakes somebody's hand. You got Ricochet with the ass play. That's like a marriage made in heaven, right there. They should put that together as a tag team.
Yeah, well, at least Randy didn't video it anyway. But anyway, that did set up that was the main event, right?
Yeah. It was a 6-man with Orton, Ricochet, and Humberto against the OC. Where AJ ate the fall. And apparently, I don't know if you guys heard the rumor here, but apparently AJ was buried coming out of this. Buried, I say.
No.
Because he took the fall. A lot of people are incredulous that he took the fall here. What do you guys think about that?
He lost one match. Can we calm down? You know what? Let's do this. It happened overseas, so it didn't really happen. What do you think about that?
And let's be honest, I say this with no exaggeration. AJ Styles, I would say, over the past couple years, is probably the most one of the most well protected guys currently on the roster.
Yeah, he's fine. He didn't get fucking buried. Enough with that shit. People just, my God, you can't lose a match anymore. You're buried. My God, I can't believe you lost a match. He's buried. Well, y'all bitched when Goldberg won 100 and some matches. Now you're bitching when somebody loses one. What do you want?
Hey, Smark, you got anything on that AJ burial?
Well, it was the biggest travesty that I've seen in my personal adult life. I feel like it's been thoroughly covered.
Perfect. I agree.
Nice. Seth Rollins, apparently, they had to clean up a lot of his reaction. Apparently, he got a terrible reaction live, and of course, they cleaned it up on the edited version on Raw. So, what did you guys think of this, man? I mean, are we at that point now? Because I mean, they basically took every member of the Shield and basically botched their runs at the top. Is Seth Rollins the worst out of the three, you think, at this point?
Number one, it's his fault. Number two, I watched the Hulu version, and there were audible boos. I don't know how much they really edited, to be honest with you, because I heard boos when I watched the Hulu version. So, that might be a ringside news article, Anthony. But,
I mean, I don't know. They were kind of playing with fire, because I think they were trying to do a little bit of the wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because he was going out there and he was saying that he was like the best wrestler in the world, and if any wrestler in UK wants to come out and do something, get some. And it's like, I feel like we kind of get who they're alluding to.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I like who came out, Walter with Imperium, and my God, man, those guys are all four intimidating, all four good in the fucking ring. That's a scary group right there, man. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Now, Mox, were you upset, disappointed that they lost their first Raw match? Or do you think it's something they can recover from?
I think it's something they can recover from. I think it was a little weird, being that they were over in the UK. I mean, as dominant as NXT has been on the main roster, I figured they would pick up the win too. But I guess eventually they had to lose one, right?
Yeah, and they definitely protected Walter. I mean, they stopped the match with Rollins that morphed into was it an 8-man or 6-man?
8-man. Turned into an 8-man. And the 8 men were Imperium, which are those four guys, against Seth Rollins. God, who else, guys?
I know Kevin Steen was on there.
Yep.
Kevin Owens.
Yep.
Street Profits.
And Street Profits.
And the Street Profits. Thank you, Smart.
Now, this show was on Veterans Day. Oh, I don't know if you guys caught that or not. They put up a graphic and showed 3 people that were veterans on their roster. They showed they put a picture up of Bobby Lashley, who was in the Army, and they put up 2 Marines, Lacey Evans, and Montez Ford, actually, was also a Marine. And they then show that graphic. They come back from the next break, and they still got to have John Cena out there, who never served a fucking day in his life, out there doing their Veterans Day videos.
Well, at least they didn't cut to the Orton segment right after that.
Yes, I get that. I'm just, seriously.
Hey, yo, put some respect on his dog tags, man.
No.
There's a lot of work kissing them dog tags every match, running to the ring.
You know what, though? They got Montez Ford out there, who is a great talker, charismatic. Why couldn't he have showed a quick serious side and done this video and shown his service? They just told us about his service. Why couldn't he have just shown us that he can be a serious guy and talk and, just tell you about his life? What's wrong with that? He's new. Do we have to get John Cena, who's never served a day in his life? Damn it, Weebs, just because he was in a Marine movie does not mean he was a Marine. Fuck off. Don't do that. Just because you wear dog tags doesn't make you a fucking a military member either. And damn it, Weebs, you're former military. Thank you for your service, sir, and happy late Veterans Day to you. I'm ashamed of you for saying that. Okay, but anyway,
they're just playing their hot hand right now. Cena's doing movies, books. He's the one that's going to be on Good Morning America, the CBS News. I mean, I definitely agree. It would have been cool. It would have been a cool spot to put Montez Ford in, give him some rub. But in these situations, they're always going to go for the hot hand. They're always going to go for the known commodity, for better or for worse. Even if it makes more sense to put the guy with the legitimate background in the military, in those spots. It just it is what it is.
No, here's my point. You're trying to pay respect to veterans. You put a veteran on that video. It's all that's my point. That's all I'm saying. I mean, you know what? It would have been, at least it would have been funny if they let Randy Orton do that video. At least there would have been comedic value to it at that point.
I'm going to put in a a throwback right there, because come on, that to me would have been a slap in the face. All jokes aside, that would have been a slap in the face.
Oh, there would have. Oh, yeah.
Of all people.
Oh, there would have been. Trust me.
Day.
Trust me, that probably would have actually upset me too. But I'll. And again, it didn't. Truthfully, it didn't upset me. I'm just like, you literally just showed a graphic of 3 people you have there in the UK that you could have do this. Matter of fact, you could have had Montez Ford come out, do the promo live, and then shown the video and get out of the ring. You could have even done that. All I'm saying. I'm done.
You know what I thought was kind of funny?
What?
They put together that. I mean, it really was a really well done video. In all seriousness, it was a well done video package. Whether it was Cena, Montez Ford, Lashley, whoever was involved, it was a well done, well put together package, as it always is from WWE. Mm-hmm. I do think it was ironic. I do think it was kind of funny and ironic that they painted Lashley as this, war hero. All these wonderful things said about him in that video package, and then a segment or 2 later, you're highlighting the storyline where he's an asshole. Like, do you ever think it's kind of ironic when they put together these video packages highlighting what guys do on the outside, but then you kind of have them in storylines that don't necessarily paint them in the best light?
Well, that shows that the writers don't talk to the people making the videos, because people making the videos are just thinking about the bottom line, the dollar, and the people that are writing are just trying not to get fired. So, they don't want to talk to anyone they're not supposed to. So, hush, hush. But yeah, Lacey, thank you. Weebs, I mentioned her. They're trying to push Lacey. Why not have her come out there and do that?
Or what about war correspondent Michael Cole?
Michael Cole?
I mean, he does. Yeah, that's a good point. He does have war experience.
I mean, he is undefeated at WrestleMania. Let's be honest here, guys.
That's right.
He is undefeated at WrestleMania. So is Snooki, by the way. Shows how much that means to anybody. Yeah, I'm just saying, I've said my piece. I just, I'm not going to say it again, but I just think they need to think about what they're doing sometimes. I get they want to use Cena as much as they can, whenever they can. And Cena's gimmick was the whole, the whole veteran thing, and he was always over there when they were over at the, what do they call that during the Christmas time?
Christmas, tribute to the troops.
Tribute to the troops. Thank you, Anthony. Or Smart, whoever I heard say it. I get it, and I get that, but guess what? He ain't there weekly anymore, and you do have real veterans there that you probably should be using.
Yeah.
So from there, guys, we had this Lana segment.
Oh,
I know I'm skipping a lot. I know I'm skipping, but I think this is the most important segment to get to. What do you guys think?
The most important segment in the history of our business.
In the history of this business, yes. Now I've got it. I'm sure it's a little edited because
dear God, I hope not.
No, it is. I got it straight from WWE's YouTube, so it's edited. I do know there was a couple points in that promo. I went and fast forwarded to it on my cable and watched it. She stumbled a few times. She looked like she got lost once, completely lost. Like she wasn't sure where she was, like deer in the headlights. Lost.
The only thing I could compare it to is like I've worked many of jobs where we've had to do corporate spiel. We're, upselling and going into this long speech about how, well, our product of the day today is. I was doing that one day at work, and a male customer, well, I guess it's not important that it's male, but he winked at me, and I turned a 2-minute long speech into 20 seconds. And I think that's what she was trying to do. She didn't seem like she wanted to do this, so she seemed like she was just fucking speed running through this. And boy, did it show.
Boy, did it show. Now, to start this promo on a positive note, because there's a lot of negative to say about it, I do want to say, with all the booing, I'm going to give her a little credit. She plowed through. She didn't have the what chant cadence, so they weren't doing that to her. And she at least deserves to have a little bit of credit for that. So if I'm going to find any good in the promo, that's going to be it right there. Anyone agree with that?
I mean, I guess. I mean,
I'm trying to find something positive, Anthony. Help me here.
I mean, look, dude, like, this is rough. I normally try to find positives and everything, but this was god awful. I mean, the whole thing seemed uninspired. Like, you could tell she clearly didn't want to be out there. This was the definition of doing it for a paycheck. Doing it because they made me do it. Like, you could tell, like, her body language was just like, let's get this shit over with.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to start Yes, Antox, I tried to find something positive. What the fuck are jazz cigarettes? I'm sorry, I guess I'm too old to know what those are. But anyway,
well, a good part of her promo was all parts of her promo, because that was absolutely phenomenal. We're about to hear some of it.
Oh yeah, when she spotlighted her legs, yeah.
And I mean, she looks like she had some. It looks like her and Charlotte took a trip to the surgeon. I'm just gonna say that because her boobs look bigger than they have in a long time. Anyway, let's go. Let me get some volume going here. And I've got the promo. It starts right where she starts talking about that she cheated on Rusev first, and then it goes from there. About 5 minutes long. May play all of it. We may not be able to stomach it. We'll see.
So the truth is, I cheated on Rusev.
Well, there you go.
Don't boo me. I feel like you all are judging me right now, and I don't appreciate it because Rusev cheated on me first, and I'm not no doormat. I'm not going to just sit around as Rusev is cheating on me. Absolutely not. Hell no. It's not my fault that he cheated on me first. Anyways, I'm not going to be tit for tat, and I'm not going to be really, really petty. So, 7 weeks ago, I had sex with Bobby Lashley for the first time. So, the wonderful person that I am, I was monogamous with Rusev, and then I was monogamous with only Bobby Lashley, because I believe in monogamy. So, which leads to a lot of other things that have happened. Last week, Ricochet hit Bobby Lashley, who accidentally hit me, causing me to fall on the ground, being embarrassed in front of the world, trending on Twitter, all these memes about me, making fun of me. I mean, have you ever fallen in front of the world? Have any of you been that embarrassed and fallen in front of the world? Yeah, exactly. I don't think so. None of you went through what I went through last week. Man. Not any of you. You could never understand. Luckily, I have so much support from my amazing, loving boyfriend, Bobby Lashley, who insisted that I go to the doctor. The doctor checked me out and said that my wrists are fine, my head is fine, my neck is fine, my back is fine, I'm fine, my legs are really, really fine. and that
Smark, you okay?
I'm soaking in all of this greatness here.
All right, just want to make sure. Okay, so up to here, like I said, I know it's edited, but like I said, you can hear the booze in the background. She's plowing through. But so far, this is awful. Now, can I say one thing? This storyline has Paul Heyman's fingerprints just fucking stamped on it. Tell me I'm wrong. The more I watch it,
I would not disagree with that.
Yeah, it's the more I watch it. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, both her and Rusev lost their accent. Rusev still has his a little bit, the usual one, like Rusev has his Total Divas accent working, which is his real accent. Lana completely just lost hers, except when she says Rusev. So, but they both completely lost, pretty much completely lost their accents. But the more I watch this storyline, I'm just going, this is a Heyman one. And just like I know the Maria and Mike Bennett one, I know was his too, which seems like they pulled the plug on that. I don't know. I might be wrong, but seems like they pulled the plug on that storyline pretty fast. But let's get back to this. I guess I'll just play the Lana part when Rusev comes out. We don't really need to hear that, so we'll talk about that, and then here we go. Oh, wrong mouth.
I am a perfectly healthy woman. A perfectly healthy woman that is 9 weeks pregnant.
What? Whoa. What?
Let me break it down for you and add it up. 7 weeks ago, I had sex with Bobby Lashley, but I'm 9 weeks pregnant. So that means that my soon-to-be ex-husband, sex addict, Rusev, put a little Machka brat inside me.
I'm just trying to understand this whole thing. First, All
right, like I said, it was going to be edited because it was a WWE version. But, yeah, now Rusev comes out. He basically, baby, I love you. And she starts hitting him. And Lashley comes out and, of course, gets the best of Rusev. And they start making out in front of Rusev again. Rusev cucked out again. I do like Rusev's jacket. I want to say that. Very nice. Looked very, very, very dapper in that outfit. But I'm trying to find positives here, Anthony. Help me.
I don't look. When's Rusev's contract due? Is he out? You think he has 1 foot out the door?
Well, rumor is he's in negotiations right now. Rumor. Remember, I said those words. Rumor is he's in negotiations. If this storyline is some sort of test of their loyalty, I don't know. There was a headline I read the other day. I did not read the article that said Rusev says that this is the hottest WWE storyline ever. You know what? If one of you guys wants to try to find that, I think it was a YouTube video. If one of y'all wants to try to find that.
I want to try to find that real quick. Now, Box, let me ask you something, because you brought up something very interesting there.
I did?
Test of their loyalty.
Okay.
Now, and we've seen this before. This is nothing new to pro wrestling.
No.
And this is not exclusive to WWE. But what do you think about these situations that pop up every so often when somebody's contract comes due and they're in negotiations? And you can always tell when they're in negotiations because of how they're presented on TV. They'll either put them on a losing streak, or they'll put them in a gimmick or a storyline that's humiliating and humbling, and that's that and the third. Now, hypothetically speaking, if Rusev decides, you know what, I want to stick around, I'm going to re-sign. You've done, in my opinion, a lot of irreparable damage to not only his character, but Lana's character. So what do you think about these storylines? Do you think in the end is worth it, or if they're in negotiations, would you just pull them from TV altogether and say, I'm not even going to bother investing television time if I'm not sure if you're going to stick around? Also, if you do decide to stick around, I'm like, I don't really want to devalue you, because if you stick around, then I've damaged my own property.
So you're kind of in a catch-22 in that situation. You're kind of damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You know what I mean? You could take him off TV. You could do that. I would say if negotiations were going bad, I would try to find a way to get him off TV. If negotiations were going good and you guys were close to a deal, I would keep him on and let him do whatever they were doing. That's how I would work it. But WWE is different, and they've got their little formula. And to me, this is exactly what they would do to someone that's negotiating. I feel this is sort of a test of loyalty, or maybe some sort of test to see if they can work apart and not as a couple. Just some petty shit WWE would do, in my opinion.
I mean, put them on different shows then. But I've had my fun with this angle over the past couple of weeks. But the more you look at it, it does start to get uncomfortable, because when you stop and when you take a step back and realize that this dude's real life wife, and he's literally having to lay there and sell while his wife, not an actress, not some chick, not some random chick on a roster, but his actual wife makes out with another dude. Like, it's like, Jesus, like, at what point do you just step back and say, you know what, fuck this shit, it's not worth it to me no more?
Yeah.
And a guy like Rusev, we don't know the man personally, but he strikes me as one of those old school manly man type of guys, and you can't tell me, like, there's not a part of him that's like, man, it's fucking with his mind a little bit.
Yeah, I would think it would. I don't know. I mean, look, there's people out there that have open relationships. There's swingers out there. There's people that are into this, but Rusev doesn't seem, and again, if you ever watch Total Divas and seen Rusev on there, he doesn't seem like that type of guy that would be cool with this shit. He seems like, I mean, those two seem really, really happy with each other. As much as they seem different, watching them on a show like that, they don't seem different. They seem very well made for each other. One's got strength, one's got weaknesses. One's weaknesses brings out the other one's strengths, and vice versa. I just don't think I don't know how anyone could be happy with this story. That's not, like I said, I mean, Eric Bischoff lending out his wife, or DDP lending out fucking, oh my God, lucky guys. But anyway,
You know who was happy with this promo? I was happy with this promo because it was fucking awesome. I know that you said you watched the edited version, Box, but I feel like you should almost watch the full-length version, because I am almost positive that the person that wrote this promo not only hasn't had sex, but doesn't know what it is. Like, literally as a concept. Because she said it in a way that, like, middle schoolers trying to sound cool in front of their friends would be more subtle. She, like, said the word sex, like, 18 times in that promo. She's like, we totally copulated. That's right. Coitus happened that night. We, it was totally consensual. Penetrative acts happened. It just over and over again. It was the most ridiculous shit. And if you're at all uncomfortable by watching this, don't be. Because they clearly don't want to do it. But they're like, you know what? We just agreed that we would do it. We didn't agree that we'd do it well. Like, these motherfuckers are sandbagging something fierce.
Yeah. All right. Anyway.
There's, like, no effort. They're just trying to hurry up and get through this shit before so it can either change or then go somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
Neutral burial. I love it.
Exactly. Now, Michael Andolini did send us that article real quick. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Once again, that's why I love doing this show live, and I got the chat room here with me, with us, actually. He spoke to The Sun, which I believe The Sun is a UK newspaper or some sort of media outlet in the UK. He told him, basically, I'm quoting right now, he said about the storyline, and he's actually taking credit for creating some of it. So maybe I'm wrong here about the kind of guy Rusev is. I think I'm a good judge of character, but I guess not always. All right, he says, and I quote, "It's great. I think we are the in the best storyline currently going on, and the best storyline that's been around for years. It's getting a lot of views and a lot of eyes on it. Some people like it, some people love it. But at the end of the day, it's the hottest storyline going on. It's a collaboration. There's adjustments that we make, but that's just life. We're committed to our characters on TV, so we just have to make slight adjustments, but we're professionals, and we're coping with it.
We've received counseling for this great baby.
Or it could be like, it could be a situation where, they're suggesting things that are intentional shit.
Make it stop. Is that a suggestion?
All right. I'm not done, by the way. I have one more.
Please continue.
No, I have one more paragraph to read. He kept going a little bit. So he chimes in again with he says his goal. My goal is to be healthy. That's my first and foremost. It doesn't matter about storylines or things like that. One day you ride a tank, but the next day you do nothing but main event dark matches. So it's a big wave. You just got to ride the wave and do the best with anything that is given to you. You got to enjoy everything you do, and you got to control what you can control, because some things you can't. And there's no point in being mad whatsoever. I'm sorry. And there's no point being mad, so whatever I can control, I do. And if not, I'm just having a blast with it. And that's it. So,
you know what that tells me?
Rusev might actually be a cuck in real life.
Possibly, but in all sincerity, it basically tells me that if you value your relationship in any type of way, you'll separate. You won't bring your wife around, husband around, because it seems like it's a recipe for disaster. Especially, I look at it like, especially if it's a person coming in from the outside.
Yeah,
it seems to be like a recipe for disaster, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just actually popped the chat back on. I see Wrestling OD says this dude's gonna lose his wife. Fucking idiot. I can't say I disagree. It's almost like that's what they're trying to do, but I don't know. I feel bad for Lana. Actually looks like she's having a great time with this angle. Rusev, however, I don't know if that article is kind of screaming, I'm really a man reaching out and I don't know what to do with my life. But anyway,
yeah, what wasn't mentioned in that article was that he was blinking New Japan and Morse code the entire time.
He's given the blink code. Okay. Oh shit! He was actually blinking Cody's name in code. Call me Cody. But I don't know that to be honest, I think that was the main thing to come out of Raw was awfulness, and this was one of the lowest. Actually, this was the lowest of the year rated Raw. And again, I'm not going to sit here and shit on that, because when you tape a show on a Friday, not everyone is going to avoid spoilers. Some people are just going to read the shit and that's it. Their show is over. They're not going to waste their time doing it on a Monday. So why waste 3 hours if you can read what happened? I'm sure a lot of people did it. So I'm not going to sit here and shit on the ratings. They had spoilers. So that's Raw, unless you guys got anything else on Raw.
I'm trying to sit here and think real quick. Raw, I mean, like I said, Raw happened. And,
sorry, guys.
Yeah, Raw happened. Next.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're about an hour and 20 minutes into the show here. Let's do this. Let's start getting into some of the news. And if we have time, we'll talk NWA. How's that sound?
Let's go for it.
Because we've got a few things to get into, and I don't want to sit here and give y'all another 3-hour show tonight. I got to be honest. I'm going to do my damnedest to keep it way under. So we'll do news. Worst comes to worst, we'll talk NWA Friday. Sound good, guys?
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
All right. So, do we start with, we have a couple big news stories. One is breaking kind of today. One broke last night. We have the CM Punk thing, and we have the Jordan Myles thing. Which would you two prefer to get into? Should we get into happy Punk stuff, or should we get into, oh boy, we're going to have to watch what we say, ACH stuff? Well, more Smark's going to have to watch what it is. Smark, don't say it, okay? Just stop now. I'm going to get it out of the way right now, okay?
Of course.
Okay, so do we want to do Myles, or do we want to talk CM Punk returning to Fox, to WWE on Fox? Not to WWE, but to Fox.
Yeah, he's back in the family.
All right, you know what? Let's start with the Punk thing since I kind of brought it in that way. That's fine. Last night on WWE Backstage, CM Punk did show up. It was pretty cool. And I will just go ahead. I've got it. I'll play it. I know there's a little bit of but we do get to hear CM Punk's song. And it's only a 50-second video. So what the hell? Let's do this.
We start doing some of our own right here on WWE Backstage. You guys in?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
What are we doing?
And 3, surprise. 2, 1. Woo! No way! Is this a ramp? Is this a ramp? Oh my God! Holy crap! You guys don't want me to cuss when you do this? Yeah! Come on!
Wow. I knew this. Wow. No idea.
That's awesome.
All right, welcome time.
Yes, well.
It's as simple as this. Just when they think they got the answers, I change the culture. I'll see you here next week.
All right. Now, let's not be too surprised. Rumor was he did get a spot on that show. Rumor was he was working with Fox. He was not working with WWE. But I do want to say one thing. This, no matter what, whether he's got to deal with Fox or he is in talks with WWE, whatever is happening here, this is at minimum, this is an olive branch. This is a foot back in the door. This is something. This is something tangible that maybe it can happen. Maybe it won't. But this gives you a little more leaning towards the, wow, he could actually get back in the ring one day. We might actually see CM Punk back in the WWE fucking ring sooner rather than later. You never know. What do you guys think? And what do you guys think of the situation? Anthony, you're off mute, so go ahead.
I think Punk basically thought of the best situation for him at this point in his life, and he decided he wants to make the most money for the least amount of work. Because word around the campfire is that Tony Khan did reach out to him with a pretty lucrative offer, but it would have been to be a wrestler. And I get the sense that Punk is done being a full-time pro wrestler. Coming back into WWE at this stage of the game allows him to be more of a special attraction. He can wrestle on an as-needed basis, aka the big shows, your Manias, your SummerSlams, have him mean something. And like I said, he could get more. He can get more bang for his buck that way, without actually having to kill himself on the road. So I definitely feel like this was an olive branch, as you stated, but I also feel like we will definitely see him in the ring again sooner rather than later, because I know the deal technically is with Fox, but it's still a WWE produced product. And I understand Fox is pulling a lot of the strings right now, but he's still involved with a WWE produced program.
Yeah, and let's be honest, we don't really know the deal. We don't know who the deal is with. It could be with we don't know.
Yeah, and to me, I feel like if Punk didn't really, if an olive branch wasn't extended at least to Punk, he wouldn't. Why would he at this point? After all this shit, it's been 5 years actually. We're 5 years to the month of the Colt Cabana interview, and I feel like enough time has passed. And let's be honest, where else is he going to make the kind of money that he wants to make?
Yeah, you're right.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I feel like it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be surprised if it's as soon as WrestleMania this year that we see Punk back in the ring.
I wouldn't either. Smart, what you got, man?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, how amazing would it have been if like he actually started shooting for real? And he's like, "Look, I'll say this, guys. UFC's fucking hard. I should have went to Bellator. Like, I probably could have won a couple of easy fights there. I need money. Bills don't pay themselves. I'm really sorry that I'm back here, but shit's hard out there in these streets, man."
Yeah, and I do want to say I don't know, and I have not heard or seen that he has been released from his UFC contract. I know Dana mentioned it at one time, but I haven't seen anything. So
he's been released.
Has he?
Well, nothing's been announced, but my gut tells me. I mean, look, Box, you've seen it. You saw the same fights that I did.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Dana gave him a ride to WWE headquarters. Like, yeah, y'all can have this dude back. I mean, because let's be like for real. Like, if you're Dana White, are you considering what Punk has given you thus far in his UFC appearances? Do you honestly think he would be losing much on another fight that won't go well for Punk?
No, not really. No, I look. I said a long time ago when after his last fight with Mike, that Mike Jackson guy. No, not that Mike Jackson. But I said I would cut my losses with this guy. I said it a ton of times. But anyway, let me ask both of you guys a quick question. Do you think that this gives him? Like, he could pretty much write his own contract at this point. He could get the Brock deal. The big Brock deal. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that WWE is doing this? Do you think this actually is in his favor? Like, the ball is in his court when and if it does come down to negotiations with WWE?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Ball's in his court. I mean, let's look at the roster they have currently. I mean, it's chock full of talent, no doubt about it. But they don't necessarily have access to a lot of people that are over, that have that crossover appeal. Punk is, like I won't say they made him, but he's one of the only people out there right now that could be a difference maker, at least in the short term.
All right.
Okay, because let's be honest, that would have been a blow if he had went to AEW, hypothetically speaking, because that would have been like a nice little 1-2 punch.
Right.
They lost Ambrose. They just imagine they lose Ambrose, and then to compound that, they have AEW bringing Punk out of retirement after 5+ years. So that would, like I said, I'm not saying it would have been a death blow to WWE. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that would have been a bad look on WWE's end.
Well,
and they would have felt like they would have been given too much ammunition. So I feel like they would definitely give Punk, they'd be more than willing to give him what he wanted, at least in the short term, to see because they know they could get something out of him.
Yeah, and before we get Smark's answer, I do want to say it's a good thing AEW stopped fucking talking about this guy when CM Punk told him to, because holy shit would they look even more like fools right now. Oh my God. That would have been horrible if they were sitting there, we've been talking to Punk. I talk to Punk all the time. And then this happens. So good for them for shutting the fuck up when they did. Maybe they knew something was going to happen. So anyway, Smark, you think this gives him the ball when it comes to, and no homo, when it comes to contract negotiation time?
Well, first off, just a rule of thumb, you can't control my homo level, so let's dial that down a little. We're going to go partial homo for this answer.
Sorry, buddy.
No, I definitely think he has the leverage, but I think that he needs to be careful because he's definitely going to end up making himself out to be kind of a hypocrite. Because, he pretty much basically implied that he was never coming back anyway, and now here he is, but he wasn't the majority of, or at least a partial part of the reason why he was unhappy was part-timers getting preferential treatment. Now, you know that if he agrees to come back in any capacity, he's probably going to be a part-timer. He's getting up there in age. So he's going to end up looking like a hypocrite on this one. Not that necessarily matters to him, because he should be in it to get the best deal he can get, but not looking great optics wise.
A little bit, and and obviously we're kind of speculating ahead of what could happen. He may just get on this show, do his thing, and not actually go back and wrestle in WWE. He might not want to go back and work that WWE schedule again. He might just want to do this show. We don't know. We're speculating. 100%, by the way. But as far as... listen, a lot of people said they'd never go back to WWE. Del Rio said he'd never go back. Warrior said he'd never go back. Bruno said he wouldn't set foot near WWE. So a lot of people said they would never go back. And, Antox is kind of bringing up your point of the hypocrite thing. Antox is sort of saying, do we think he's sold out?
At the moment, no.
Yeah, I don't think so. And obviously I think he's talking about if he gets back in the ring. No, I don't. People say shit, they get emotional, they do this, they do that, shit's going on in their life. And then sometimes sometimes you grow up a little bit, and sometimes you also realize that life's too short for bullshit. And Triple H might have called him. Who knows what happened? Again, we're speculating here. We don't know, but I'm not going to say he's sold out. I don't think right now he's being a complete hypocrite. I really don't. And you do got to do what's right for your family. And I know he doesn't have kids or anything right now, but the guy's got a wife to think about. And we don't know how much he's dumped of his earnings and savings into these stupid lawsuits with Colt Cabana.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if whatever he's doing in whatever capacity that he's with them or with Fox covering them, if what he's doing is what he actually wants to do, by and large, like he'll probably have to compromise a little bit, but if what he's doing is what he wants to do and what he enjoys, right, I don't think it's selling out. If he's there because he just needs the money and he's going to phone it in, absolutely selling out. But if he actually wants to be there, that's his prerogative, just like it was his prerogative to leave.
So, all right, so let me sum it up with this, and I agree with that. Let me sum it up with this. At this point, if he's going to do this Fox Backstage show, no, I don't think this is selling out. If he gets back and goes in the ring and does the whole WWE schedule again, or even worse, if he does go back and work that Brock Lesnar schedule, that part-time schedule, then you are probably going to get my mind changed, and I'm probably going to say, yeah, he probably did sell out a little bit. A little bit. Yep, probably. He talked a lot of fucking trash about the company. Again, I know a lot of people did. And, I mean, let's face it, Warrior came back for the money. And because he also loved a lot of the people there. Bruno, I'm not sure what Bruno's motivation coming back was.
I mean, all right, it's a couple things at play here real quick that I want to break down. In terms of the selling out thing, look, at the end of the day, your loyalty is to the reflection you see in that mirror. People calling you a sellout, this, that, and the third, aren't paying your bills. They're not buying your house. So you do what you have to do for you to keep a roof over your head, take care of home. That's number one.
Right.
In terms of him coming back, because of the, you don't have to look at it like this. A lot of shit was done on both sides. Punk said some very derogatory things about the company. The company, if we are to believe what he was saying, there's some fucking shady shit to him. Because if you look at how easily he kind of like won that lawsuit, how much he got, and how much of he got what he wanted. They basically gave him pretty much what he wanted coming out of that lawsuit. So that tells me that, yeah, some shady shit on their end went down. Right. 5 years, you fast forward 5 years, there had to be some type of sit down. I don't give a fuck if the deal was with Fox. There was a lot of bad blood between CM Punk and WWE. So there had to be a sit down. Somebody had to reach out to the other and say, look, I'm thinking about coming back into the fold, working for you guys in an offshoot type of way, but we have to discuss some things. We don't know if that took place, but a hunch would tell me, yeah, they fired the dude on his wedding day, so there had to be a sit down at some point. Whether it was with Punk and Triple H, Punk and Vince, somebody had to reach out to somebody else first before this deal to come together like it did.
True.
He did just wake up one day and just say, hey, I'm working for WWE now. I'm working for Fox. See you next week. There was a sit down. This was like months in the making, I feel like.
Yeah, probably. Now, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and play a quick 2-minute video of reactions. We get all the people that were on that, on that show. Renee Young, Samoa Joe, Booker T, Paige, all their reactions immediately right after CM Punk walked in. And I got to say, it actually looked like they weren't told. The only one that was told was Renee about this little deal. So, I don't know. Let's go ahead and play it real quick. I got it right here.
I'll see you here next week. I'm just happy you don't have to lie to anybody anymore.
He's there. We've been lying. And I felt so weird about it. It was so stressful leading up to that moment.
And I can stop stressing about, do I zip this up?
No, it's good. It's a good look.
What do I do?
This is a good
worried
look.
About stupid.
This is like a good standard look.
This is it. Well, until I can fit into a catsuit like you.
That was awesome. Honestly, like, we didn't know, and me and Booker were just saying it's the first time that we've been pranked, kind of. I don't know, how would you say it? But that we got on the show. We're very excited. I mean, he's going to just bring his honesty, which is why everyone loved him in the first place, right? His real honesty. So, yeah, we're happy that he's here. I think it's a good end to a rough show because the guys have been picking on me.
Well, being as somebody who's probably the most familiar with him, was the only way it could have been. You know, real quiet, real sneaky, real devious. Probably just keep up standards, you know? It's a really important thing. It's good to have him back.
Awesome, man. First of all, it was an awesome show tonight. Everybody went out and just, let loose a little bit, let our hair down and had fun more than anything. And just like typical WWE, the moment, where we think everything is over. And like they say, always expect the unexpected. Here comes CM Punk. The cult of personality, the music and whatnot, I'm sure the fans that have been wishing to see more of CM Punk, they're happy. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a great addition to WWE Backstage. Renee and I, we couldn't be more overjoyed. So I'm looking forward to the future. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be one of those things, just like I always say. Now, can you dig that? And many, many more nights of Can You Dig That? And what you're going to be digging is WWE Backstage. Now, can you dig that?
All right. First thing I'll mention is the graphic they have on the bottom. This little video I found on WWE on Fox's Twitter page. That's where I got that video right there. And the graphic on the bottom has the Fox symbol and the WWE symbol kind of together. So I'm guessing this is a completely different kind of contract. But I guess they're saying CM Punk is advertised for a show in 2020. And Renee said we've been lying for a while, but Samoa Joe's saying, oh, well, this is how it should be, and Booker T saying the fans are going to see a lot. There's layers and shit to this story, man. Layers and shit, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, but, and look, as far as, Punk being a sellout, I mean, it's been 5 years. I feel like a lot can change in a person's life in 5 years. That's the only thing I want to convey right now. A lot can change in a person's life. When he did that interview, I'm never going back. The wounds were still fresh. Everything was still fresh in the man's mind.
Right.
Now, like I said, don't get me wrong, he did say a lot of things that I'm pretty sure if he does end up going back, he's probably going to be like, yeah, but at the end of the day, 5 years, he had some time to decompress. He had time to live his life his way. He had a break from that grind. And plus, remember, he still has friends there. I'm pretty sure he's been in contact with people that work there. It's not like he disavowed everybody from that company. I'm sure he just didn't publicize it, but he still has friends there.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's like people kind of got to like take a step back and realize that a lot can change. A lot probably changed in this man's life 5 years down the line. And sometimes maybe he's one of those people like I said, maybe his wife talked to him. Say, look, you got to let some of that pain go. We need this money. You miss it. I mean, we don't know, dude. Like, Box, you're a married man. Married couples have these discussions.
Listen, I'm about to start a new job. So you're right, we do. And I'm luckily not leaving my parents, but we're making some changes in the business. So, but I'm starting a new job Monday, actually. So yeah, shit happens. Jobs change. We need extra money. Literally, I have a whole extra mouth to feed in the house.
Now, Shaheen is asking us in the chat, do we see him wrestling in GCW? That's actually an interesting question. I'll let you take the lead on this one.
We're talking about Punk still, right?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I don't give the wrong answer. But I don't know, man. I don't know. This contract might stop him from doing anything like that. You never know.
You're being sarcastic. Okay, bastard. I was trying to be professional on this show. I'm being sarcastic.
I don't know. Yeah, whatever. All right. What do you guys got on the CM? What else you guys got on CM Punk? Like I said, I believe it's an olive branch minimum. If he's being advertised for shows, I figured that would have hit the old dirty dirt sheets, but who knows, man?
Now, interesting note, Survivor Series, Allstate Arena this year in Chicago.
Chicago, eh? Chicago. We will, I guess we'll see. I don't know if we're going to see him that early, but we will definitely see. Anything more? Or are we done with that? You guys want to get into Jordan Myles? I'm sorry, ACH?
Yeah, this is funny. The more I thought about it, though.
Don't be super bitch.
Kind of sad, though, man. All right. Before we get into the meat of the Jordan Myles situation.
Oh, shit. We're going are we hitting the potatoes first?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Do you guys think that this guy is dealing with, and I'm not even trying to be funny right now, think he's dealing with some, do you think it's personal problems at home? Do you think it's a mental situation? Because I feel like this dude is literally having a nervous breakdown in front of us with some of these rants. Because I feel like we're past the point of him just being pissed off about a T-shirt.
Damn, these potatoes taste like shit. If we're going for the potatoes of it, Anthony, they taste like shit. Are you saying he's gone Kanye on us?
Pretty much. I feel like he had us all. He had everybody with the T-shirt. Everybody can agree that was a fucked up T-shirt. And even if WWE's intentions weren't racially motivated, that was it was a fucked up design. And he had a right to be pissed off about it.
True.
He had a right to be pissed off about it. But then once he started, once he brought Jay Lethal into it, that's when I kind of I'm like, that turned me on the guy. First off, you bring in a guy who, first of all, is pretty much universally liked by everybody that's ever come into contact with him. Never heard a bad word about Jay Lethal, ever.
No. And honestly, dude,
it was just even if you did hear a bad word, it was just bullshit to bring somebody else into your beef that had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, to be honest, dude, this guy just looks like he's got a chip on his shoulder, and I think he was very unhappy. And this video says a lot of what he thinks. And then he put out a second video, but he, believe it or not, deleted it quick enough to where I can't find the video. I think Smart looked for the second video. he deleted it quick enough to where no one got the second video. But someone had a transcript of it, and I do have that pulled up. So we will play the first video. We'll play the second. I'll have to read the second video. I'm going to apologize now. I'll pre-apologize. But I don't think. What?
I ain't heard this verbiage. Hopefully it's all right. I'll let you.
No. There's none of that in there. I'll be fine. None of that. Right. And if there is, there's going to be a lot of ninjas hanging around tonight. But that's all I'm saying. But I don't think he's going. I think he's just got a chip on his shoulder. I think he's angry. I think the fact that he sees a lot of guys now being used on television NXT, and he's not one of them. I believe that might have a little bit to do with it. But I don't think he's gone crazy. I don't think we're seeing a nervous breakdown. I think we're seeing a guy with a chip on his shoulder who I'm not sure if this is the best analogy, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyway because I don't really give a shit. I think he kind of feels a little bit like Neville did in his situation. And I'm not, again, I know it's a little bit of a bad comparison, but Neville thought he was pretty much better than the shit he was doing. And I believe this guy thinks the same thing. I think he's going about it a much different way, but
yeah, because at least in Neville's situation, he was like, I'm better than 205 Live. I'm better than Enzo. I'm above the shit. That's totally different than accusing your employer of being racist.
Right.
You're accusing them of being, basically, you're not only blackballing yourself from the WWE, you're blackballing yourself from the industry.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, put it to you like this. If you're working for the industry leader, you're calling them racist, you're calling them fraudulent, this, that, and the third. What other promoter is going to look at that and say, yeah, I want that guy on my team?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but now you got me looking at this, making sure there's nothing I have to.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, shit.
Yeah, Box, take the beard goggles off. Read that carefully.
Let me check. Listen, it's 411 Mania, so I believe the article's going to be okay. It's all I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to go with that.
Right? Hear something. If you see something appropriate, just make sure you go. That Jordan Myles, that motherfucker, WWE.
I'll make sure. I'll make sure I got the censor. Yeah. I'll make sure I got the censor beep up there. But from what I see right now, this article is A-OK, sir. But
please just sure that the article wasn't submitted by Doc Hendricks.
No, no. There's no one with a Confederate flag paint on their face or anything in this article. So I believe we're okay. But y'all are some motherfuckers. But anyway, let's go ahead and play the first video. What do you guys think? But Smart, we didn't get your opinion. Do you think the guy is going nuts, or do you think he's just a dude with a chip on his shoulder?
I'm more on your side of the argument, I think. We don't know who's in his ear. We don't know who's telling him what. We don't know, his social media, how many people are in his corner or not. He's got a spotlight on him. And I feel like he's kind of just going about it the way that he feels like he should. And we could talk about whether or not it's for better or for worse, but he seems to think what he's doing is working out good for him. And I mean, I don't know his exact age, but the guy's probably still in his 20s, maybe early 30s. So it's hard to kind of have that kind of maturity to where you're not just out here acting a damn fool online. It can be tough.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Give me 1 second. I'll actually get his age for you. He was born in 1987. There you go. So do that math. 20. There.
32 or 33, I believe. Depending on what month.
Young, dumb, and full of cum. So here you go. Let's go ahead and play this. My whole screen just went black. There we go. We're good now. Let's play it. I did cut out the beginning. Now, there is a spot in this video, though, where you can hear his phone vibrate, and you see him get pissed, and then like that someone's calling, and then he tries to get his angry face back on. his like, angry. I don't know his angry face. But here we go. Let's go ahead and play this.
As of today, I'd like to officially announce that I quit fucking WWE. I am no longer an employee. I refuse to work for racists.
Yeah, I hear the vibrating.
I fucking quit. Fuck them. I hate that fucking company and everything they fucking stand for. All they did was ever hold our fucking people back. I do this shit for the culture. I don't need anyone's fucking permission to do what I want to do. Screw Jordan Myles. Don't ever call me by that slave name. Call me ACH and don't forget the super bitch. I quit. Fuck you.
Okay. So there's video number 1. All right. That's video number 1 right there. Anthony,
Yes.
right to you. He said a lot in that video in a very short time. The video is 1 minute, but 22 seconds of it I cut because it's silence. So it's a very short video. He said a lot. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Or
I disagree with the verbiage that he used, and from the standpoint of, once again, he had a point with the T-shirt. The T-shirt was racist.
Okay.
But I'm not sure of his aspirations long term. But even if you want to get out of WWE, that's all well and good. But I feel like he's going about it in the wrong way, because it's no different than when you go to a new job. You always need that old job for references. I don't think it's just a good move for your long-term job prospects in this industry to go out and call people racist, call people fraudulent. I mean, that's just me. Like, if you want to stay employed within the wrestling industry and make a comfortable living, the people that are going to pay you the best money are going to look at this and say, I don't know if I want to touch this guy, because the minute something comes up that he don't like, he going to accuse us of being racist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, there's a lot of shindy promoters out there that don't have no problem employing this guy. But I'm talking about, I can't picture a Tony Khan being in a rush to pick this guy up if he's calling Vince McMahon and Triple H a bunch of racists. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely, and I think we even said a week or two ago that he was this is kind of career suicide for him. I don't know who will risk picking him up. Like I said, he's making himself out to seem the kind of guy that you kind of have to walk on eggshells around, watch what you say. And it's horrible at this point that we have to, do that. But he's doing it to himself, man. I mean, now, again, I did say, he does have a second video. We'll get to that in a minute. Smark, I got to get your opinion. What do you think of this first video, buddy? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he necessarily did anything in this video. I don't know about the second video, but I have seen this one, so I will comment on that. I don't think he's done anything worse than he's already done. I don't think this does much of anything to hurt his reputation. Doesn't do anything to help his reputation either. I just and I feel, it does suck. I do feel like for the most part he was in the right, but he's just kind of gone maybe a little bit of the wrong way about how he's handling it. But I just don't, we've talked about it before, and I mentioned Colin Kaepernick before. Much like how Colin Kaepernick hasn't gotten a job, even though, regardless of what you think about what he said and what his stance was on things, it got to the point where, as a business move, it didn't make sense. His talent was not worth the risk. You couldn't justify it. And let's be real, I could name about 300 better wrestlers than ACH. If we're talking about people that does what HCH does, we'd have a 3-hour show of who I could name that does that better just right now. So he does not have the talent to be going about this the way that he's going about. And again, he was primarily about 98% in the right. The T-shirt was fucked up. But just the way that he's handled it. And maybe he does feel like he's in the right. Maybe he does feel like this is the right way to go about it. Maybe he doesn't care about his future in the wrestling business. Maybe he doesn't need that. Maybe he has avenues elsewhere. Like, it's hard to say right now what his intentions are on a bigger picture.
True. Very true. Very true. But, all right, let's move on to the second video that he put up. He deleted quick enough to where no one got it. I do have a transcript here from 411 Mania. So if you got a problem with it, go to 411 Mania. Don't come to me. On his first video and his issues with WWE, he said, and I quote, "I want people to understand where I am coming from with my anger. I am unhappy about the t-shirt that was made to show an image of me that was clearly disrespectful, not only to African Americans, but also to anybody that decided to purchase that t-shirt and show some type of pride or appreciation for Jordan Myles. You have to understand, that's how they view me. That is racism. That is wrong, and that is not right." Now, real quick, I'm not gonna, but I do want to say none of those t-shirts were sold. Let's just remember that. And he did say kind of in there that people decided to purchase that t-shirt. No one purchased that t-shirt. It was never put out for sale. So there's a bit of not a lie, but a bit of an exaggeration in there. Definitely not a lie, but an exaggeration. Actually, you know what? It is a lie, because no shirts were sold and he says purchase. Purchase means bought. Sorry, he lied. But the rest of the statement, we all agreed the shirt was wrong. And he's kind of, like I said, trying to get where his frustration is on that. Anthony, you got anything on that the first paragraph of that?
I mean, once again, he had people on the side. I would say 99.99% of us in the wrestling community were 100% behind him. The shirt was shitty. The shirt was just shitty to begin with. You add in the racial undertones to it, it makes it doubly shitty. So he had a good thing going, but I feel like he compounded it by bringing in outside forces. So, like, when you read that statement, it sounds like very articulate. It kind of takes you back to when you was on his side, but because I'm reading through it now, he kind of once again goes off the rails with things. It's like he can't help himself. He's one of those people. He'll have like something that he can say in 2 minutes, but he'll stretch it out to 10 minutes, and you'll be completely lost by the end.
He's also seems like he's very emotionally driven. Some people are. That's fine. But yeah, as he gets older, he's going to have to learn to control that a little more. Smart, you got anything on that first paragraph I just read, or?
Not really. I don't think I could put it in a way better than you two have put it so far.
Oh, well, okay. Anyway, this is still a little bit on the first video and on why he's quitting the company. He says, "Now, my first video was pure emotion, and there was a lot of rage behind it because I was clearly upset. Now that I've had time to think about this, and I've had time to gather my thoughts, I want everyone to know that I will no longer be employed by WWE because I refuse to approach people that have offended me. My entire career has been me approaching people that have disrespected me and have shown me absolutely no love or the same respect that I have shown them." All right. I see. There's actually I have zero issues with that whole statement. Nothing wrong with it.
Nope.
Nothing. Anything? You guys, anything?
I actually agree with that statement.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. You should.
Once again, like I said, you definitely don't approach somebody with respect if they constantly disrespect you. I get all that. But, I'll just take it back to there's just better ways to go about handling it.
Right. Absolutely. Smart. Anything on that, or do you just, like I said, I have no problems with it. I agree with everything you said. Anything?
Yeah, it seems perfectly sensible so far.
Absolutely. Now, we have two more paragraphs. This one is on his problem with wrestling culture. I am tired of the way that this wrestling culture is today. They don't treat the younger guys with respect. All the old guard walking around here thinking that we owe them something because they've taken a couple more bumps than us, that is bullshit. I'm tired of it. This is for the culture, not just for African Americans, but for everybody that has ever felt like they couldn't do anything in their life. This is much bigger than pro wrestling. This is way. That's what he said. This is way, way much bigger. Okay, anyway, this is way much bigger than WWE. Vince McMahon, Triple H, NXT, SmackDown, Raw. This is bigger than life. This is a stand, and me and the people will take it to the world, and we will take it to their throats first. And
welcome to WrestleMania.
It's not just about t-shirts, Swag.
Jesus Christ. Like, how we look, dude, look. How we go from t-shirts and wrestling to this is life. This is bigger than life right now. Like, if he had to show this kind of look in his entire career, if he had to show this level of passion in one ROH promo, one NXT promo, he'd be in the wrestling business would look at him in a hell of a lot better light right about now. He's showing more charisma in these rants than I've ever seen this dude ever.
Yeah,
show anywhere.
Let's break this paragraph down here. Let's start with the beginning of it here. The wrestling culture, the old guard. He talks about walking around thinking that we owe them something because they've taken a couple more bumps than us. I don't see a lot of the old guys treating anyone like that or hear about it. Am I the only one? You guys? Something on that.
I mean, I get what he's saying to a point, but you got to pay your respects to the people that came before you. Number one, because they laid the groundwork for you to be able to do it. I definitely agree with you. You don't have to. I feel like the overly ass kissing way that some, that underculture of wrestling where you got to kiss everybody's ass. I don't agree with all of that.
Right.
But I like with any job though. With any job, when your first day on the job, you do have to pay your respects. This dude just signed in February, of this year. So I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about with the. Does he feel like he's paid enough dues within WWE? Because I feel like it's different. You got to pay. I mean, I get you've been in the business 5 years, 10 years, but it's like anything else. When you go from one job to the next, you still have to pay your dues in that new job.
Yeah, I got to be honest, and I'm gonna make another comparison. This sounds a little Leo Rush-ish. You know what I mean? I ain't meant to carry bags for the old guys and this and that. So,
I agree with that. No, Leo, right? No, he had a point with that.
No. I'm not saying he didn't, but I'm just comparing it to that. It seems a little bit of the same type of verbiage is all I'm saying. Yeah. But Smark, anything, or should I go to the next part of the paragraph here?
I mean, yeah, we actually, to your point, I'm glad you mentioned that. We don't really know what was expected of him, to be fair. Like, in terms of a backstage capacity. Like, maybe they were trying to do him the same way they were trying to do Leo Rush. Like, we don't know that, we don't know exactly what it is that happened. But at the same time, I get the idea of wanting to pave the way, wanting to do something for your generation or whatever it is, But at the same time, in any business, like, you have to have some respect for people that have seniority over you. You can't start, like Anthony said, he signed in February. He can't just, like, walk in, put his feet on the desk and be like, look, eat a dick, Larry. I'm the best mailroom clerk. Like, you can't do that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say pecking order because it just sounds bad, but
you're saying pecking order, bro.
There is a pecking order in every job you go to. There's cliques in every new job you start. There's a pecking order in every job you start. And look, I'm not saying he should be absolutely 100%. I'm not saying they should be carrying the old guy's bags or anything. But, and again, he's not saying that. But I'd like to actually literally ask him, what did you mean when you meant they're disrespecting you? I'd like to actually know exactly what they were doing to disrespect him, to be honest with you.
When you say like the old, kissing the old guys' asses and all that kind of stuff, well, in what context are you talking about? Like, for example, I'm not the biggest Jeff Jarrett fan. I'm not the biggest Triple H fan. But they have lineage. They have history in the business. They've done some things. They've been places. They've wrestled on big stages. So if they come at you a certain way, if they tell you to do something a certain way or give you some advice, you'd be well advised to take it since they've been places that you haven't been that you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
They kind of know what they're talking about.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like this is one of those situations where I really wish we can get this guy of sound mind and body to sit down with somebody, whether it's a Feinstein, whether it's a Sean Oliver, somebody that can ask him the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
To kind of get a better feel for where he's coming from. Because right now, like he's speaking through a lot of rage.
True.
And a lot of things are getting lost in translation, and we basically only have assumptions to go off of. I really like to get this guy in a calm, cool, and collected state of mind so people can ask him some really hard-hitting questions so we can get a base of where he's coming from so we can better analyze this stuff.
Yeah, and the last paragraph goes off the rails a little bit, but the last paragraph is on being done with WWE, and I quote, "I am sick and tired of this narrative that we shall bow down to the WWE because they have all the money. You must be effing crazy if you think I will die on that sword for them. They got me fucked up. And I hate that I'm cursing this much, but when you curse this much, this just means you're coming from the heart because it's a little bit more realer." Realer? Anyway, and the show goes on because ACH is a brand that the fans trust. So even if they slow me down, they will never, ever slow my plans up. You can call me ACH and don't forget the super.
That actually, and I'm not saying this to be racist. Follow me here. That literally is lyrics from a rap song at the end. Like, read the last 3 sentences again, if you would.
Oh, shit, I gotta... Okay, there's one.
ACH is a brand that the fans trust. They can stop us, but they'll never slow our plans up. That's a Lupe Fiasco song called The Show Goes On.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you remember
So
that.
how real is he being right now when he's not even coming up with his own words?
and look, dude, like, he's talking about, fuck WWE. I'm tired of this narrative that we need this money, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to realize, I'm trying to think, and maybe you guys can help me out with this. What the fuck happened to this dude in 8.5 months? WWE it's been well established that they're not, they are some fuck ups. They do some shady shit. But what the fuck happened to this dude in 8.5, 9 months of being there to elicit this type of reaction? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
like seriously, I do you really think WWE fucked this guy over that badly in 8.5 months, 9 months to get this kind of reaction?
Wow. That shirt really just has me saying maybe a little bit. All right. I mean, otherwise, again, I didn't see a lot of his stuff, so I don't really know, but I'm with you, Anthony. I'd like to get this guy and be able to actually interview this guy. We need to see if he's really, when he gets released, we need to see if we can get a hold of him. I got questions for this guy. I got questions, Anthony. I got questions.
I mean, do you think that we could afford to pay him like $1 more than MLW is going to?
I don't know. I'll you know what? I'll offer to cook the hot dogs. How's that?
Will you be willing to throw in the bun? Maybe a choice of one condiment.
Oh no, I'll cook the hot dogs, give him a bun, and add the condiments. I'll do that. How's that? All right.
Hey, no. We're the podcast that gives.
Yeah.
So you know how they say hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah.
I'll see our handshake. We'll see that hot dog. We'll add some mustard and relish. Because, you know, we care.
You know what? I'll even go hamburger and a handshake. How's that? Huh?
Easy box. We on a budget.
No. No. We can.
No, come on, Box. For one hamburger a day, you could feed half ROH's locker room.
That is going to be a thin patty. But fuck that 3rd pound shit, motherfucker. We're talking 1/8 here, like 1/8, 16th of a pound. All right, but you know, I'll do it. I'll do it.
So to put a bow on the Jordan Myles talk, how do you think that this is going to end for this guy at this point? I mean, because he's basically publicly quit the company.
Badly, Anthony.
Because at this point, I don't even see a situation where they even want to put this guy on TV anymore, even to bury him. I feel like they want to just keep him out of sight, out of mind, because with each video that he puts out, with each post that he puts out, you'll get like you'll get 1 or 2 lines of him being lucid and clear-headed, and then he goes off the rails. So he's a real life ticking time bomb in terms of the shit he's putting out there right now. So I don't even see a situation where they feel comfortable enough to put him on TV, because they have him out. He's not on the injured reserve list, but they basically have him out for an undisclosed non-medical issue. So it's he hasn't been at the Performance Center in a few weeks, but it's kind of like a little bit of confusion. Like, is he at home in Texas? Is he in the area where NXT normally tapes? So it's a little confusion there, but I don't really see a situation where they put him on TV, but I also don't see them just outwardly releasing him, because that sends a bad message that if you act out, you can just get released. Because then you'll have a bunch of people doing the same thing, which is going to tie into another story coming up with Sin Cara, with these people requesting releases and whatnot. I just feel like that they're in a rock and a hard place right now, because you don't want to give publicity to a guy that's going off the rails, but you also don't want to reward bad behavior.
You also know WWE is not releasing people, even if they quit. Yeah, you know what? This is the weird thing about a contract, Anthony. You can quit if you want. They don't have to release you from your contract.
And they can also freeze, because as Rey Mysterio, because he went through some shit for a little while. Because what happens is, whenever somebody gets injured, poor Luke Harper.
Exactly.
They basically can add that time onto your contract, because for however long you're out hurt, that's time that they didn't have access to your services.
There was a large majority of people that were signed up with Lucha Underground that had to go through some real loops to get out of their contracts.
Oh, look at Ivelisse. Ivelisse just
Jeff Cobb.
Yeah. Ivelisse just got let out of her contract. She was like going to court and shit over it. But I mean, this is what WWE does. They will hit that mute for a minute, Smart. There you go. Thank you, buddy. This is kind of WWE's MO. They'll do this, and they won't let you out of your contract. They'll just leave you there, so you can't go work for anyone else. You can't make a living. They'll we use the term, they'll starve you to death. They'll fucking starve you out, man. It's exactly what they'll fucking do. They don't care. And by the time you get let out of your contract, you're not going to be on TV. No one's going to remember you. You're going to have no name. You're going to have nothing except just your attitude, and this is all people are going to remember. Now, if they do let him out of his contract, he may have a chance of going out there and doing something on the indie circuit. I don't see WWE letting him out of his contract, to be honest with you. No matter what he sits there and calls them, no matter how many videos he makes, and you think that 90-day non-compete, that's definitely going to be on there right there, buddy. And by the way, if you think 90 days is bad, again, I just said I'm getting a new job, which means I have to sign a new contract. I have a 2-year non-compete if they fire me. Get it? 2 years. I can't work in the packaging business for 2 years if they fire me. How's that sound? So 90 days, I wish that was the deal, but it's not. So, yeah, I just don't think they're going to let him out of his contract. I think they're going to just starve the guy, not put him on TV. They're probably not do anything, not even on the network. I don't know what you guys think, but go ahead.
He's basically, I mean, his career is done in terms of WWE because, once again, you're not going to reward this guy by giving him airtime. And it's one of those things where I feel like, especially now with where WWE's at now in 2019, they are all about putting their best face forward, their best foot forward in everything in terms of public perception. So you're not going to have a guy who's constantly for the past month, accused you of being racist, everything, calling you everything under the sun. You're not going to put that out there for the public, for public consumption.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, like, to your point, I don't necessarily think they're going to starve him out because, that's illegal. I think they're just going to sit him at home, pay him whatever his downside is. And I can't imagine. I don't think they got this guy. I don't think they have Jordan Myles, AC. I don't think they have him locked up for any real length of time. So worst case scenario, he'll sit at home for about a year and a half, and then they'll just let him go. They'll let him go. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, if they just signed him in February, I wouldn't be surprised if they just signed him up for like a year and a half.
Could be. You never know. But I guess we'll see. Smark, anything on that, or should we move on to, like Anthony mentioned, Sin Cara?
Yeah, I think that about covers it.
All right, Sin Cara, not the original one because he's already gone, but I believe this is Hunico actually, right? Yes, has asked for his release from WWE. He really put out a lengthy. It was a tweet, basically. I am not going to read it. It is, like I said, lengthy. I've already read enough to you guys tonight, so I'm not going to do that. But it was basically the whole. I'll give you a quick gist of it. He prayed, he considered a lot, and after all the thinking, it was basically the Mike Bennett thing. I'm here to work, not to sit around. I'd rather go somewhere else and improve my craft and do what I do. So that's pretty much it. The whole thank you thing. Wish they would stop doing this stuff. This is not the way to get released from WWE.
Yeah, dude. I'll be honest, and I'm gonna sound like a dick for saying this. When I hop online and I see in card trending, I'm like, oh shit, did this dude die or something? Because I mean, what other reason would Sin Cara be trending? And then, thankfully he didn't die, so happy about that. But to your point, Box, I don't know, man. You think it's like a generational thing? Like, what is it about people they're getting online and making these public declarations? I've requested my release from WWE. I quit WWE. What part of the game do they not understand?
Well,
has this successfully worked for anybody thus far in 2019? I don't recall it working for anybody yet.
Number one, no. Number two, who cares? I'm sorry, but you're rarely on TV. When you are, you're with two other guys who are basically just two other guys in masks who are just as good as you. And you're basically playing a character that some other guy got fired for, and you're kind of a secondary character in a way. So why put all this online?
Antox, he's saying it works for Kenta and Sean Spears. This is the one time, during the course of any Dirt She Do's episode where I will give Sean Spears credit. Sean Spears actually went about things the right way. He waited until after he got his release to go online and say, I had requested and received my release from WWE. Thank you to the company. On to bigger and better things.
And
that's the difference right there.
And he married Peyton first. He married that girl first. was a good idea because they probably, you know how they hate married couples anyway. So, bingo, he had the double working for him. He's gone. And hasn't worked out great for him. But let me ask you guys something. You see a guy like Hunico, Sin Cara, whatever you want to call him, not used very much. And again, we're not going to spend much time on this, actually. And after this, I think we should wrap it up. But you see a guy like Hunico, not used a lot. What does he think he's really going to go out there and do on the indies?
No clue.
I mean, first of all, was he an indie guy before he came in? I don't remember, to be honest with you. Or
off the top of my head, I don't think so, but he probably was at some point.
May have been. I don't remember. I'm sure Antox will let us know. But, I mean, it's just, who cares? You're not used on television enough to go out there and, I mean, I get it. He wanted to put out his thing. And, of course, he's allowed to do that. But, again, Dean Ambrose should be teaching a class on this is how you get out of WWE. Because, remember, one more time, Dean Ambrose didn't break the news that he was leaving. WWE did.
Yeah, and from WWE's standpoint, and this is what people don't realize, it's all about perception. I'll use Justin Credible as an example because I was watching an interview clip from him earlier. So basically, remember Aldo Montoya?
Yeah.
Portuguese Man of War?
Yes, I do.
So basically, Hall and Nash leave the company. He's buddies with those guys. They were able to get him a deal, a good deal. You know, come in WCW, new gimmick, the whole nine. He asked for his release because at the time he was like 22, 23, and he felt like he was a young guy. He was coming into his own. He had a lot to offer, much like these guys do now. And he didn't want to waste his prime years in a go-nowhere gimmick. And Vince basically said, I can't do that. Not because the Aldo character was so fucking valuable to the company, but just because during this particular time period, you had a lot of people migrating from his company to WCW. And he didn't want that perception.
Yeah.
That, you know, that was the place to be. He didn't want that perception that the WWF was a sinking ship. So even if you were a minor bit player on his roster, you still were on his team. And he didn't want that perception like, oh shit, even Aldo fucking Montoya is going to WCW now. You know what I mean? So that's what it comes down to. So
yeah,
when you see somebody on WWE's television, no matter how minor, they're still on quote unquote the A show. They're still on the global leader.
Right.
Global Leaders TV. And you don't want the perception that AEW is the place to be. New Japan, Ring of Honor, LOL, is the place to be. You know what I mean? You don't want that perception, so I get it. That's why they're holding a lot of these people hostage. Not because they necessarily see them as valuable commodities, but they don't want that perception that they're on a sinking ship.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's like Brandt's trying to get off.
Yep. Yeah, I can't say I disagree. Smark, anything on Hunico, and do you give a shit? And after that, I think we should just wrap this bitch up. We'll get into NWA on Friday.
I mean, I get that, you know, he's just using social media to talk about what's on his mind, how he feels, whatever. That's pretty much the whole point. I get that it's not going to help things. It's not going to accelerate the deadline any quicker. And for him, I don't know, like, what options does he have on the indies? I get that idea, but I mean, there is still CML, there's, you know, AAA, there's places in Mexico and stuff that I realize that he's not the original Sin Cara, but, you know, you could put him under a similar mask or some kind of, you know, whatever. He has some options elsewhere, I think, but if he's not happy there, I get wanting to leave. Actually wanting to do your craft and not just, you know, JTG it or Funaki it, where you're collecting paychecks for 8 years and just hiding in broom closets.
Hey, man, whatever works for you, you know. Whatever works for you.
Hey,
But,
bro,
yeah.
main event catering.
Hey, man, whatever you got to do, you know, get that money. But
Don't answer your phone.
There you go. All right, what do y'all think? Let's wrap it up. Yeah. I agree. Let's do this. All right. Everybody, appreciate everybody joining us. Chat room, you know we appreciate you guys. Everybody downloading this show, you know we appreciate you guys joining us. I appreciate Smark and Anthony joining me, always. Check out Wrestling OD, Wrestling Overdose over there. Make sure you check him out on the Patreon. Check out Shaheen's artwork over there on Nuclear Heat Graphics, nuclearheatshop.com. Check out Wrestling's High Marks. Check out the Inhuman Experience and Bobby doing the In Search of His Lost Soul over there. Check out Unscripted Wrestling on the Philly Sports Passion feed. And me and Anthony, we will be here doing Hollywood Hangout this weekend, Saturday, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time on this Mixler, mixler.com/dirtsheetdudes. Follow us on Spreaker. Dirt Sheet Dudes, right there on Spreaker. Like our Facebook page, Dirt Sheet Dudes. Follow us on Twitter. Guess where? You know where. Dirt Sheet Dudes. And you can find us on Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, Player FM, and anywhere you find good podcasts. Guys, anything else? What do you got?
Oh, real quick. Apologies to my boy Jason Clark. I butchered the plug earlier. Podcast is the Bottom Line Wrestling Podcast, available on Google Play, Stitcher, iHeart, wherever fine podcasts can be heard. Basically, he plugs all the holes that we neglect to get to sometimes. You got AEW, you got NWA. What's the other one? Impact. All of the wrestling shows that we fail to neglect, because it's 87 hours. We can't get to it all. No. He plugs your holes for you.
There you go. He's a hole plugger, so plug those holes over there on that show. And that's it, guys. We will see you guys Friday night. We will be talking SmackDown. We will get into NWA Friday night. And appreciate y'all joining us.
Popeye's Chicken. Don't forget, Popeye's Chicken.
That's it. And we will definitely, we'll start with Popeyes and this world going absolutely insane for goddamn chicken. Goddamn, the chicken has caused the apocalypse, folks. Anyway, Appreciate it. Love everybody. See you guys. Thank you two over there for joining me. And we will see everybody Friday night right here. Mixler.com/dirtsheetdudes. Later.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Time to take your drunken ass home. It's alright.